you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Top of the morning to you all and welcome to this live program. This is Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. I am Jane Wumboy. It is the 8th of March 2022. We do trust you are up and early and getting ready to get your day going. We are glad you have chosen to start your morning with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. And as always, we are a team to tayari to bring you the latest in terms of politics, health and news, as well as letting you know how the roads will be looking like before you get to leave the comfort of your home. Victor, good morning.
I start this show with my head bowed down in shame on what happened yesterday. On behalf of men folk in the country, as we celebrate International Women's Day, I still bow my head in shame. The lady's voice, the scream, perhaps got drowned in the heavy cheers and roars of men who were supposed to protect her. But that did not happen. Her cry for plea, her cry for mercy and leniency went in vain in broad daylight. All that happened is meant to take photos and videos and share online. They molested her, she screamed, but nobody was there to help her. That was your sister, that was your daughter, your wife. She was just running around. She was there at the right time, at the right place, going about her business, just like you as a border operator. It was an accident. What did you do? You molested her. Her tears just dried up in the scorching sun of the city. There's nothing you did. Hilary Mutyambai, the president, do something. We cannot live under fear of the border operators. They are motorists as well, and we must obey the traffic. Good morning to the show. My name is Victor Lo. It's a bad day to start the show on International Women's Day. Shame on us men. My name is Victor. Karibu to the show.
Doreen.
Speaking of Hilary Mutyambai, the president, the spokesperson Bruno Shioso is on record saying that they are still launching investigations. And perhaps the challenge is when we talk about launching investigations, even when they are caught, how sure are we they'll be apprehended? Yes, they arrested 16 of them, 5 motorcycles were pounded yesterday. But even at that, what does it speak about the state of security in our country? Do we lack training when it comes to border operators? And even if some of them get to undergo through this training, what exactly is missing? What is the missing link? I think that there's a lot of questions we need to be asking ourselves, because somebody said that if this incident was not recorded yesterday, it would have gone down as one of those statistics we keep talking about. So where is the missing link? Where are we really going wrong as a country? Yesterday was her, tomorrow could be you, the next day could be somebody else. Nonetheless, we are here on this Tuesday morning. We still have a lot in store for you, from what has been captured on the different dailies to the news, different conversations, as well as how our roads will be looking like. And today we go all the way to Maimahiu. This is after that particular stretch or road was complete in terms of construction. That was November of 2020. What exactly has been happening in that stretch, knowing fully well it leads to what we call the Northern Corridor? And again, just like what we looked at yesterday, it is still a very important road when it comes to the economic growth of this country. So that is what we'll be focusing on. Many thanks for making time. I'm Doreen Arange Okelo. Regina.
It's quite a sad morning, you know, when we are marking the International Women's Day, and yesterday, the eve of this day, where we're talking about gender equity for, you know, opportunities for both gender, male and female. And the country is abuzz with this conversation around, you know, borders and now them becoming a security threat. Well, this has been a long time coming. I have a challenge here. And it's also open to, you know, discussion on our social media platforms. Have you ever seen the L sign, the land sign on a boda or a motorcycle? Have you ever? We see them on buses, we see them on tuk-tuks, we see them on private vehicles, but have you ever seen it on a motorcycle? These riders learn on the job, literally. I have seen conversations on social media where Kenyans are coming out and saying, giving all manner of proposals to tame the rogue industry. One of them is stop the importation of these motorcycles, then regulate the sector. Because we cannot start talking about regulation, yet the tap is open, as Jen said. You know, we have good guys who are doing legit business. But as we say, every town has a madman. In the border sector, we have several mad men. It is very disappointing to a point of disgust and loath, because that woman is a daughter to someone, is a sister to someone, is a mom to someone. And the men who are doing that heinous act are sons to mom somewhere. They did not fall from trees or the sky. They are actually born of a woman. Developments coming into studios indicates that the number has shot up from 16 people who are arrested to 32, and over 12 motorcycles confiscated, as, you know, investigations are underway into that particular heinous act. And I cannot help but wonder, if it was a male motorist, would they have molested him? Would they? That's it. From where I sit as we mark International Women's Day, I tend to believe, and this is my firm belief, if we are going to tackle and stamp out gender-based violence, the men have to step up. And thank you very much, Victor, for condemning that particular heinous act, as well as other men who've come out and say, you know, for a man who is brought up right, your duty is to protect. Especially a woman. It's a sad morning.
Her screams were...
I even don't want to think about her screams. You know, there's that... When you hear someone
Regina,
screaming, it's on an elemental level, it scares you.
Exactly.
There's
you even don't need
else.
to look at the video, but the scream itself.
That shows you she can't speak, she can't do anything but just
Her scream was a sign of stop. Stop.
Like...
It's enough. I'm helpless. I surrender.
And it wasn't like she was running away after that accident.
No.
So it just makes you think and wonder, why would they go to that extent?
Yeah.
It's because she was a woman.
But even in the past, even men got, you know, the wrong side of these people, because some of their cars were touched. You know, when an accident happens, it's called an accident because a motorist did not leave point A to go and cause an accident at point B.
Exactly.
Even that border operator, did they even ask what really happened? It was an accident. The border rider was going about his business. The lady was going about her business, and it's called an accident.
But how often do you see, whenever a border rider has been involved in an accident, how sane do those conversations go?
you are the one who is on the wrong.
Because most of the times, if a boda rider has been involved in any accident, they flock there in a matter of minutes.
Because they are right.
And it gets chaotic.
Because they are right.
Because they're right to have injured one of our own.
This reminds me of 2017, where 3 Githurai 44 bus crew, remember the 3 who were sentenced to death? Then,
and they're serving time.
Yeah, they're serving their time behind bars. Francis and I jailed them after spending 3 years in custody. Right now, they're behind bars. Sexual assault is a serious human crime. Guys.
Now, let me read even some feedback here from lawyer Wahome Thuku, who has chipped into this conversation and says he's painted a picture to just bring this down to our level of understanding, right? So he goes, so your husband, stroke your father or brother is in a police cell tonight. That was yesterday. Reason? He stripped off a female motorist following a traffic accident. No, he was in a gang of boda riders that did it. You know, it might not have been a boda rider, but part of the gang that did it. Probably he even didn't touch the lady, you know, but the law does not know that. Yeah, the police will charge him today. They will take him to court and won't charge them yet. They will ask for permission for 10 days to carry out investigations, and the court will grant them. Now, so your husband or father or brother or uncle will be in custody for 10 days. Probably he might even be held at the industrial area. So for the next 10 days, he will be taken to court, and if anything was stolen from the poor lady, your husband stroke brother, uncle faces charges of robbery with violence. Why violence? Because the law says robbery committed by more than one person is robbery with violence. He continues to say, if he's lucky, he will be released on a bond and not a cash bail. So prepare the title deeds, the logbooks to get him out. To be honest, your husband, stroke brother, uncle may not see freedom for the next 1 year. This is what happens when a husband, stroke brother, stroke uncle does what he did, and that's just free advice. And this will continue trickling in. It's already a hashtag that is trending. It has been captured on social media as well as mainstream media. We have updates from that. We are inviting you as our viewers to give your view in regard to this, especially at a time today being the day that you're marking International Women's Day. Good morning once again. You're watching KBC Channel 1 and I am Regina Manyara. Now, without further ado, let us look at those stories that have been making headlines in the last 24 hours. Now, we start off with that particular update is that by yesterday night, 16 people were arrested for assaulting a female motorist along Forest Road, Nairobi, following an alleged traffic accident. This follows a video of the woman being manhandled by a rowdy mob, including boda riders, went viral on Monday. Here's Safin with the details.
It is this video of a woman being accosted by a group of people along Forest Road that has sparked public fury. Our sources say a group of people, some identified as boda riders, approached the 35-year-old woman's car, demanding that she takes responsibility for allegedly hitting a pedestrian. The recorded scuffle shows the gang stripping the woman of her clothes and molesting her as she screamed helplessly. According to the police, the Friday incident was reported to Pangani police station on Monday.
She was accosted by the bodas, and she attempted to flee, drive away for her safety, which to our side was in order. In the event, she was cornered by the bodas and molested the way the clip is. And in that circumstance, our officers were not far away from that end. They rushed to save this female motorists.
The public outrage on social media over the incident prompted action by the police, who conducted a swoop in the area. Police also condemned the action by the boda riders.
We've been going on with operations, trying to make sure that the bodas don't get into. But they have a loophole of maneuvering all through. Despite that, we've made arrests of so many of them. And that operation still goes on, and we shall still go on with it until when that kind of behavior stops.
We caution members of the public and the boda people, in the event of any misunderstanding, any issue that is happening, they need to follow the law. No one is an exception. And it is also good when these issues come out, because we are getting to know and to share. And people should not shy out, because as I'm saying, this is an incident that happened on Friday, but it's been reported today.
Now, following that heinous act there and crime that was reported, Kenyans have condemned the impunity exhibited by boda riders who accosted and violated a female motorist along the Wangari Maathai Road in an incident that was captured in video. Here's Gladys Mungai with the reactions from Kenyans following that particular incident, where investigations are underway.
Chilling screams of a terrified woman and the wrath of an irate group of men. The contents of a viral video that has got the country talking just hours before the International Women's Day. From senior government officials to Kenyans in general, social media was act on Monday. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i said we must protect the roads from such vile and reprehensible acts of aggression. Some argued that the majority of riders are criminal. Something needs to be done urgently to tame the boda industry, said someone. Protective and Safety Association of Kenya, through a statement, termed the incident as an infringement of the constitutional rights of the lady, bordering on sexual and gender-based violence against her person.
From me to you, wherever it is that you are, I mean, you can imagine the social media and the stories going around on mainstream media. Receive my hugs, it's going to be okay. I can imagine the trauma might last a lifetime, but this is tinder that was ready to be lit, and we need to put this to a stop. Women are people too, you know. We're not just mothers, we're not just wives, we're not sisters or aunts. We are humans. And it's a high time we also were treated like humans. It's very sad. Pardon me for that. Now let's talk about matters of education, where 1.2 million candidates were expected to sit for their examinations yesterday, that began yesterday and trickled to today. And Professor Magoha said helicopters will be used in zones that are not easily accessible. He said security officers have been dispatched to examination centers across the country. Nancy Okware with the details of the first day of the national examinations.
The Kenya Certificate for Primary Education class of 2021 began sitting its national examination on Monday in an exercise overseen by a multi-agency team. The over 1.2 million candidates wrote the mathematics paper, English and composition on the first day. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha oversaw the exercise in Kakamega County, where he assured learners in insecurity-struck areas of their safety, even as he cautioned politicians against campaigning near examination centers.
So if anybody dares, we work with the Ministry of Interior. Do you think the security forces have no authority to flush those people out? We are asking them very politely to go to other venues.
In Nairobi County, Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho was also at hand to assure learners that the government will oversee a seamless exercise.
We have ensured that there isn't a chance of anyone to tamper with it. You would have to coordinate hundreds of people to succeed.
Kibicho's sentiments were echoed by Rift Valley Coordinator Mohamed Maalim and Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata.
We have restored the integrity of Kenya's exams, and we shouldn't lose it now that we are advancing in it.
In Westland Sub-County, 2 candidates are writing their exams in hospital.
There are people who are going to those hospitals to administer the exam there. So the issue has been taken care of.
A candidate in Kisii County too is confined to a maternity ward after giving birth just hours to the D-Day.
Delivery was normal. The candidate is stable. Is at Kisii Level 6 hospital. Again, arrangements have been made to ensure that she takes her exams.
A few kilometers at Kiongongi Primary School, a classroom went up in flames before the commencement of the examinations.
Now, the head teacher explains very clearly that they don't use gas in this school for any activity. So how the gas cylinder found its way into the school compound and into the classroom is something that the investigating officers will probably help us unravel.
15 inmates at the Kitui GK prison and 20 others in Naivasha are also sitting the national examinations, some of whom are serving life sentences.
Nimesoma mpaka standard 7 nikaashia nikiwa raia, lakini nilipoingia hapo alipotuelezea kwamba alipoelezea umuhimu wa masomo, mimi nikachukua hiyo hatua. Alishakuwa nimefungwa maisha, nikaamua kuendelea na masomo.
Ninatarajia kwamba nipata alama zaidi ya 270 hivi, ngalau sijawahi kufanya mtihani ya darasa la 8.
In Mandera County, security has been beefed up to ensure a smooth examination exercise. Mandera County Director of Education Abdi Sheikh says the examination will be airlifted to all centers that are facing security challenges.
Oh, we have no much challenge. The NEC and the government have taken everything taken care of, okay? So I think things will go very well as planned.
Migori County Commissioner Meru Mwangi has refuted claims that Migori is a hotspot for exam irregularities. Mwangi says all measures are in place to ensure a credible exercise. On Tuesday, the candidates will write the science paper in the morning, followed by Kiswahili, then Insha in the afternoon. On the first day of the KCPE examination, the multi-agency team overseeing the exercise across the country has maintained that no candidate will miss the examination, including those in the volatile regions. Nancy Okware, reporting from St. George's Primary School, Nairobi.
Now, that was day 1. This is day 2, and we're going to be keeping tabs on what is happening as far as the KCPE examinations are concerned. Now, talking about matters of security and how they are affecting this particular exercise is that candidates from 2 schools in Muchongoi area in Baringo County were forced to abandon their exams after gunmen exchanged fire with security forces near their examination centers. Now, several houses were torched and a motorbike was burnt during the attack. There were no casualties reported in the 2 schools, however, and the government is assuring parents and KCPE students in Baringo County of enhanced surveillance. Ben Chumba reports.
Days after 6 people were killed by armed bandits in Baringo South, the bandits struck again on Monday, this time disrupting the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education KCPE exams in at least 2 schools. The candidates from the schools in Kapsukum, Mochongoi, Baringo County were forced to flee after gunmen who launched attacks near the examination centers exchanged fire with security forces.
That what is happening in Mochongoi is no longer cattle rustling. It is no longer robbery. What is happening in Mochongoi is massacre.
We saw masses of people running away from the region. In fact, the whole place is becoming, it is becoming just a wilderness because nobody is there now.
Several houses were torched and a motorbike burnt during the attack.
Tumefahamiwa na wakora, wamechomea watu manyumba, wamefungia wengine wa nyuma kule kusoma hata mpaka saa hatujui ni nini inaendelea huko.
Sasa kama exam kweli inaendelea na sisi wenyewe tunahama mama ya hawa watu wenye wako kwa madarasa. Sasa tunaona kweli tunaelekea wapi?
Tunauliza international community waingilie hii shida ya insecurity hapa Baringo.
The government has set up examination centers in safe areas to avert the likelihood of more candidates who could miss the national examination.
Tumefanya mikakati kuhakikisha ya kuwa watoto wetu wamepewa nafasi kama Wakenya wengine kwenda kukalia mitihani yao. Kwa hivyo tumejipanga na usalama ya hali ya juu itapatikana katika kila sehemu ya hizo mashule.
Candidates of Sinoni Primary School, Kasiela Primary School, Arabal Primary School, Kapindasum Primary School and Kapkechir Primary School are writing the exams at Mochongoi Secondary School. While in Baringo North, pupils of Kapturo Primary School and Chepkesin Primary are being hosted at Toboroi Primary School. On Saturday, 7 people were killed by armed bandits in the two volatile regions of Baringo South and Baringo North, creating tension which has since caused moving to safer areas.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says some top government officials are the largest beneficiaries of irregular acquisition of government and public land. Matiang'i says among the most affected is the Prisons Department, which has lost a large parcels of land through the syndicate. The department is now looking into repossessing the grabbed parcels after taking stock of what it has lost over the years. Zainab Said reports.
Speaking at the Prison Staff Training College in Ruiru, Kiambu County, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i said the Prisons Department had finished compiling a report on the land it owned, ready to be handed to the National Lands Commission for action.
We should ask some of these people if they have any conscience left to think about not today, think about Kenya tomorrow.
Matiang'i said Yatta, Eldoret and Kapsabet are among the prisons largely affected by land grabbing.
And it's rotating very nicely.
Meanwhile, the National Land Commission, in collaboration with Food and Agriculture Organization and the European Union, have moved to provide guidance on how to engage with communities while undertaking large-scale land acquisition.
The issue of the land fragmentation is an emerging concern, and we have experienced land buying companies subdividing land in arsal areas to uneconomical signs. It was therefore important for the Commission to research on the effect of land fragmentation on land use and food security in 13 counties in Kenya.
Already a pilot process has been done in 13 counties. The National Land Commission is recommending transparency during negotiations, compliance to environmental standards and food security, among others, before land acquisition.
Much you go about legislating, however much you go about planning, a lot of the fragmentation is actually, and I know this from experience in my area, is actually not formal. A lot of that fragmentation would not have been through physical planning. It would not have been through even formal subdivision. It would be a scenario where the father has divided his land to his sons, and they have put up fences, and they are relaxed there. They have not done any formal subdivision.
The European Union and Food and Agriculture Organization have pledged their continued support for the project, which will soon be launched in all the 47 counties.
With an EU contribution of 10 million euros, which is 1.35 billion Kenyan shillings, and an FAO contribution of 60 million Kenyan shillings.
Help build a food secure country free from hunger and malnutrition. And this will be, of course, realized through tenable land governance practices and by implementing policies, legislations, and guidelines for effective land use.
Now on to matters politics, where Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga says no one will be forced to join Azimio La Umoja Alliance ahead of its national delegates conference slated for this weekend. In apparent response to Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who had called on Raila to commit to the 2017 NASA deal before negotiating to join Azimio, the former premier dismissed those given conditions before joining the alliance, claiming it to be a coalition of the willing.
With Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka appearing to have played hardball when he called on his Orange Democratic Movement counterpart Raila Odinga to honour their secret 2017 pact before negotiating to join Azimio la Umoja, it was the former Premier's turn to reciprocate. Ahead of the Azimio delegates conference slated for Saturday, Raila said no one would be cajoled to join the alliance.
People are going to come to the NDC are basically parties who subscribe to the Azimio ideology. And it is actually an open meeting. Only those who are willing. See, this is actually a coalition of the willing.
And in what could expose Kalonzo to further alienation owing to the willingness of KANU leader Gideon Moi and UDP Cyrus Jirongo, who are in One Kenya Alliance to join Azimio, Raila welcomed interested parties.
We will deal with those who come to us. We will not force anybody or coerce anybody to come to Azimio. Azimio is basically a movement of the willing. Those who want to come to Azimio are free to come.
The former Prime Minister was receiving over 20 members of the Murang'a County Assembly who are accompanied by former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth and 4 area lawmakers. Raila denying that Mount Kenya region was pushing for Kenneth to be his running mate in the general election.
We are not yet talking about who is going to be a running mate. We are creating a movement. Correct. We will discuss those issues when the right time comes.
We believe we are safe under Raila Amolo Odinga, not just as a community, but as a country. Yes. And we support him without any conditionalities.
So we want to tell the people of Murang'a, the whole country, that whatever Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga has been propagating for the people of Kenya, we rally behind him. He has the goodwill of this country, and all the MCAs who have not behind him, those are the people who have lost the election.
Now, still keeping up with matters politics as we gear towards the National Delegates Conference that is slated for the 12th, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance leadership is calling on county administrations and public servants not to interfere with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission's mandate as it prepares for the 2022 general elections. Led by Ford Kenya Moses Wetangula and the leaders who spoke during a tour of Mathira, Mukurweini and Kieni, Nyeri County, launched several development programs. They said Kenyans should be allowed to exercise their democratic rights at the ballots.
KBC na upungufu wowote itawaandikia iwaitishe muwasaidie.
The democracy of our country is in another level. They cannot interfere with the election of this country.
You must stop those games of pretending that you can form teams to oversee our elections. IEBC is properly funded and IEBC is properly led. Hamuna kazi ya kuambia IEBC kile watafanya.
On that note, we take a quick break. We'll be back with more news, including what is happening in the business arena. Do not go away.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
nimekukanya mara nyingi sana uachane na Kate, lakini usikii mwanamume we. Matatizo, jibu maswali yangu vile ninavyokuuliza. Wasikia?
Basi salamu usinipe, kwako pia utanikaribisha.
Utoka hapo sio kanguka kwa maji, unataka kuniletea shida wewe?
Unatafuta nini?
Mbona ulikuwa utaki nije?
Sitakataa uje. Ukasisha watu amani. Kisa ni mali mama.
On cinemas and theatre this episode,
courage or die in cowardice.
Join me, Jacqueline Masharia, as we review the film Mission to Rescue.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
On our members of parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice of the following motion.
The debate.
Will as many as want to be to say aye?
The statements.
A statement on an issue of general topical concern.
The petitions.
Order number 4, petitions.
Stay tuned to KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa for live proceedings from both houses of parliament from Tuesday to Thursday. Live, uncensored, unedited. KBC, your national broadcaster.
Good morning. You're watching Good Morning Kenya right here on KBC Channel 1. I'm Regina Manyara. Now we're speaking matters business, where the Kenya Tea Development Agency is headed for another clash with labor unions due to the use of tea plucking machines. The agency has said, well, it will roll out the use of machines by the end of this month after years of delays. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has further said the government will liberalize the import system, which currently is a preserve of KTDA. Labor unions have in the past threatened to sabotage the tea business in the country if the government allows the import and use of the machines in the country.
In 2017, Central Organization of Trade Unions threatened to lead a countrywide tea worker strike after the Court of Appeal ruled in favor of tea multinationals to integrate tea picking machines in their operations. Another new round of legal battle is brewing as KTDA is seeking to scale up use of tea picking machines among smallholder tea farmers after a green light from the Ministry of Agriculture. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya says the government will liberalize the sale of the machines that are currently only sold by KTDA to make the equipment cheaper and accessible.
KTDA company that produces machines already produced, tested, and is already selling. We were telling liberalize, because there are others in the field that would want to bring the cost down so that more farmers can buy them.
This is among a raft of measures that KTDA is implementing in the short term to increase tea earnings that will also see KTDA subsidiary Greenland Feather purchasing farmers expensive commercial loans worth 6 billion shillings this financial year from financial institutions.
We are saying instead of the farmers suffering under heavy debts that are very expensive, buy them. Borrow that money, buy the debt from the farmers.
The agency is also targeting to build a 10 billion shilling tea stabilization fund in the next 3 years to cushion farmers from fluctuating tea prices. The agency is seeking 4 billion shillings from Treasury in the next 2 years to operationalize the fund.
We can raise 10 billion and we are good to go in the next 3 years.
The government projects tea farmers will earn 150 shillings from sales. Despite Russia-Ukraine war, two of the newest markets for Kenyan Orthodox tea.
Keeping up with matters business, industry lobby groups have called for a meeting between the Kenya Revenue Authority and Keroche Breweries Limited. The Kenya Private Sector Alliance and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers have said the meeting is meant to resolve the tax dispute between the tax agency and the brewers. Keroche Breweries is staring at a bleak future after KRA sealed the brewers' premises over tax arrears running into more than 300 million shillings.
Last week, Keroche Brewery's chief executive Tabitha Karanja made a passionate plea to the government to rescue her business, which is facing imminent closure due to tax arrears amounting to 310 million shillings. The company claimed that if the Kenya Revenue Authority fails to unseal its business, it will be forced to close permanently in the next 7 days. Today, two of the leading business lobby groups have waded into the matter. The Kenya Private Sector Alliance and Kenya Manufacturers Authority say they organized a meeting between the two parties in an attempt to resolve the matter amicably. Following a Twitter thread on the matter, the private sector apex body notes that they are committed to providing an enabling business environment for member associations and corporates. However, the two bodies have said Keroche's matter has been complicated by non-regularization of its membership in KEPSA and CAM. This comes even as Nakuru leaders urged the Revenue Agency and the National Treasury to resolve the Keroche matter urgently.
We cannot sit back and watch as we destroy a local industry that has offered thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs to our young people coming down just for things of,
amicable resolution that will not hurt the common citizen. That this need to be done with an immediate effect, so as to make the running of the local investment and safeguard.
We'll be keeping tabs on that as well as what is happening in the tea and coffee industry. Now we cross over to matters sports, where Kenya has named the Kenyan team to the World Athletics Indoor Championships slated for the 18th to the 20th of March in Belgrade, Serbia. Team Kenya comprises of 6 men, 4 women and 6 officials. Reigning Africa 100 meters record holder Ferdinand Omanyala will lead Kenya's medal hunt and will compete in the 60 meters. Collins Kipruto and Noah Kibet 800 meters, while Daniel Kirop and Ebeyo 3,000 meters, while Abel Kipsang will compete in the 1,500 meters. Naomi Korir and Elgay Nafuna will compete in the 800 meters, while Edna Jeptwike 1,500 meters and 3,000 meters, while Beatrice Chebet will line up in the 3,000 meters. Team Kenya, led by Barnaba Kilitil, is expected to arrive in Serbia on March 16. The best for Team Kenya there ahead of those particular games. Now let's just recap what was happening as far as football is concerned. We talk about yesterday's EPL. So Tottenham thrashed Everton 5-0 there in a match that was played yesterday in the EPL. Well, we also had England, the FA Cup, that is Nottingham Forest taking on Huddersfield, and where Nottingham Forest came up on top at scoring 2-1. And now talking about today, when it comes to the Champions League, we're expecting Bayern München taking on Salzburg at 11 p.m. tonight. Then we also have Liverpool taking on Inter Milan. And we're going to be having Manchester City taking on Sporting CP, while Real Madrid will be squaring it out with PSG. These are the matches, tomorrow's matches as well as today's matches. So we're going to have Liverpool and Inter versus Bayern and Salzburg tonight. So save a date. Remember, for the details on stories that have been making headlines, both matters business, politics, as well as sports, are available on our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke. This brings a cap to our news bulletin, but we're not done yet. We have so much in store, including what the various dailies have in store for you this morning. So do keep us company.
we continue within the headlines, I'll get to have a look at what the papers have for us very briefly. I'll start you off with the Daily Nation. Some good news that, at least amid all these unsettling stories concerning the border that we have been witnessing. American firm Moderna to build a vaccine plant in Kenya, and this is something that the president has lauded, saying this new $56 billion deal will be a game changer for the continent, given it will make Kenya the hub and the first one in Africa to actually host such a plant. And it will not only be focusing on the production of COVID-19 vaccines, but it will also look at drugs that can help in the treatment of HIV as well as cancer. Some good news for our country right there. Coming on to some bit of politics, Ruto set to run parallel vote tallying center, and quoted here on the front page when he was speaking yesterday at the Holiday Inn Hotel in London, he said, quote, "My votes cannot be stolen. I'm not the type of person they can steal votes from. It's not possible." That is a story that has been captured here. Of course, we'll be giving you more details in a bit. And then again, that story concerning the border sector has also found its way here on the front page. And they title it, "A Sector Gone Rogue." And they go on to write to Mutyambai here saying, "Dear Hilary Mutyambai, stop this madness now." This story has been captured in great detail here. Of course, we'll be giving you details as per what these dailies have. And this is mostly in regards to the development that had been made by last evening with 16 suspects in connection with the attack of the female motorist being arrested. Here they go on to say that the lady in this particular case was able to record a statement yesterday, given she had been traumatized by this particular event and she wasn't able to do anything since Friday, but they were able to communicate with her and she was able to put in her statement. And you know what's the saddest thing is when you get to read this particular story, it actually goes back to a task force that was formed in 2019 to create regulations on how to streamline the border sector, and yet there has never been a report that has been made public from this task force on what they came up with. Details in a bit. Victor.
Front page of the Star. Ruto, "I didn't appoint any cabinet minister." Kenyatta recently accused the DP's wing of running down agriculture, and now the DP denies ever sharing position, saying that Uhuru made all appointments in his regime. Of course, the deputy president was speaking in Chatham House in the UK during his tour. 16 border riders held after motorists molested, story that has gripped the nation. But as at yesterday, according to the police spokesman Bruno Shioso, he said that 32 so far arrested and 11 border operators, borders were impounded, and they are still continuing with the investigations, and most likely they will be presented to court this morning. Kenya's fat children are a ticking time bomb. According to World Health Organization, kids in the country are among the most overweight in Africa due to poor diet. Now, this is what it says. The World Health Organization says that this is because of a shift in diet to foods high in calories but low in nutritional value. On the other hand, according to UNICEF, Kenya also has a high number of children, about 24%, with stunted growth due to lack of enough food. There's a cartoon here. Perhaps my cameraman, can just zoom into this cartoon here. It's KCPE, and we have got two. We have got politicians now. Okay, there you go. So we have got, this is Rao, ODM leader Raila Odinga on this end, sitting for his paper. We have got Kalonzo Musyoka just peeping. And this is Ruto in the UDA colors, and this is Mudavadi also peeping. Then the question says, the running mates are going to come from which region? A, Mount Kenya, B, Central, C, Gema, and D, all of the above. So when you look at Rao scratching his head like, okay, and Ruto at the same time asking himself, itatoka happy? That is the cartoon of the day. Interesting. Thank you. All right. Moving on, very quickly, we won't force anybody to join Azimio la Umoja, Raila tells Wiper, and of course this comes at a time when Raila was asked by the journalist whether Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka will be present at the Azimio Delegates Conference, but Raila said that Saturday's meeting is for parties that subscribe to Azimio's ideology. So he said that, no, if you're not subscribing to Azimio's ideology, then you're not welcome in the party. I didn't appoint any minister, that's according to the DP Ruto, and of course it continues to read saying that Ruto instead insisted that the Jubilee administration was a unit headed by the president who made all the appointments. And on that story of Moderna, 57 billion shillings to be spent to build that drug facility in Kenya, and the company says that it anticipates investing up to $500 million. That's equivalent to 57 billion shillings in the new facility, which will focus on drug substance production. This actually is going to be the first in Kenya, in Africa, so to speak. And finally, in sports, Omanyala eyes national record at World Indoor Championships, and he said that the national 100 meters record holder said that competing at the World Indoors Tour Series last month has greatly improved him and believes it is only a matter of time before his medal cabinet starts filling up. All the best to Omanyala, Umwami himself.
Omanyala.
Doreen.
Omanyala
is going to do things.
Uhuru's cabinet has failed. That is what the deputy president is saying. This is even as he is on his 10-day tour in the West, that is from the US to the UK, citing that those who were appointed to perform the tasks that had been mandated to him during the period of 2013 to 2017 are the ones that have actually failed the government. And he really said some heavy words right there, even as it pertains to the president. And away from that, Raila tells off Kalonzo over Azimio. Yes, so he's also come out to say this is after last week when Kalonzo released that NASA partnership agreement. And he actually said, this is the Wiper Party leader, he said that he's going to be in talks with Azimio only if that agreement forms the basis of their conversation. But the former premier says that this outfit is only open to those who want to belong, and no one is being coerced to join Azimio la Umoja. So even as that is happening, Kenyans protest sharp rise in cooking gas, and now dealers are adjusting to the prices. This is between 200 shillings and 500 depending on the size of the container, as mentioned by the top oil marketer, that is Rubis Energy, whereby the 13 kg cylinder will rise from 2,700 to 3,340. And if you can remember, there was a time this 13 kg cylinder was actually going for about, is it 18 or 2,000 Kenyan shillings? So clearly it's just been rising and rising over time. And going by this article, there are just some alternatives that perhaps Kenyans can employ. Part of what is being mentioned here is the use of firewood and ethanol cookers. Some saying that they stopped using this cooking gas a long time ago because of their prices, and they only get to use it during emergency times. So most Kenyans opened to woman deputy president. This is the latest report by TIFA that shows, depending on both coalitions, Kenyans are actually open to a female deputy president, but still reluctant to elect a female as the head of state. And those names that came out on this poll included Martha Karua, that is the NARC Kenya party leader. There's Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, as well as Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu. There's obviously still that story on what happened yesterday along the Professor Wangari Maathai Road, and as the police spokesperson is saying that the persons who were arrested have been presented before courts of law, and upon completion of investigation, of course, they will be charged. And down in Mombasa, health officials have down their tools since yesterday, citing non-payment as well as their salaries, non-remittance of their salaries reduction. This also happened early this year. I don't know really what is happening in Mombasa when it comes to health workers. Regina.
Now, being the 8th of March 2022, the world is marking International Women's Day. And as I sample this particular daily, being the Standard, we have a piece here that talks about, women and the roles that they're playing in society. Just having a look at, the turn of events. There are women who have thrown their hearts into the political ring, gunning for hot seats like governor and senators. So this is quite a piece here at a time when you're looking at the issues of, women especially accessing or rather getting opportunities for leadership. This year's theme, actually what is trending this morning is #break the bias. Matters of gender equity are not just a women thing or a female thing, but it encompasses both gender, male, female, for equal opportunities, equal access, no bias and such. So get onto the bandwagon. KBC Twitter line is open for your feedback in regard to also the matter that we highlighted for you there, the issue of the border issue. We understand that in the course of this week, there's a faction, human rights activists are going to be having a peaceful demonstration whose aim is to have the government regulate the border sector that has already been termed as a security threat. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Another story that has also caught the eye of the scribe this morning is all about matters of politics, where now Raila comes out and says that he is ready, or rather Azimio is ready to go without Kalonzo. And that is, or rather Kalonzo representing Oka here. Then the cost of cooking gas, the rise in it has been cited to be, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. And now this comes against a background of eroded household incomes caused, by drought and the COVID-19 pandemic. In short, mimi na wewe kama Wanjiko tunakaza kamba zaidi. I'm very keen to see in the next week or so, when EPRA releases its fuel prices, new fuel prices, if you're still going to if you're going to be making use of the petroleum levy. Then Uhuru's failures are his own, says Deputy President William Ruto. So much is happening in the political scene. Also to remind you that this is day 2 of the KCP examinations, and it's found itself on the front page of this particular daily. Now, talking about politics, there are various players, and the church cannot be left out of this conversation. So Radio Taifa this morning, hosted by Mojuma Chozi and Rashid Wamkondo, is having a guest, and this is none other than Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, to address the matter of, the role of the church in pre- and post-elections. Let's have a listen in.
Kwamba Jackson Ole Sapita aliweza kusomea shule ya msingi ya Rotian kutoka mwaka wa 1973 hadi mwaka wa 1980 kabla ya kujiunga na shule ya upili ya Narok kutoka mwaka wa 1981 hadi mwaka wa 1984. Msikilizaji, ni kwamba kipindi hiki kiko moja kwa moja kupitia KBC Radio Taifa, na vile vile pia kwa sasa tumengeomba msikilizaji uweze kuweka vile vile pia sauti yako na kufungua runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1. Kipindi hiki kiko moja kwa moja pale kupitia kipindi Good Morning Kenya, ambapo upande wa pili tuko na wenzetu kule, tutakuwa tukishirikiana nao. Kwa hiyo hashtag msikilizaji ni 2, unacheza na hashtag Zinga, na wakati huo vile vile pia unacheza na hashtag Good Morning Kenya. Ama vipi Stozi?
Kabisa msikilizaji. Na kumbuka kwamba pia tutakuwa tunakupatia fursa ya kumuuliza swali lolote. Kumbuka kwamba tunazungumzia kabla ya uchaguzi na baada, yani uchaguzi ambao unakuja sasa hivi. Je, tutarajie nini? Wakenya wafanye nini? Na wao kama kanisa wana malengo gani kuhusu uchaguzi huu ambao unakuja? Manake kuna watu wengi sasa hivi, story zote tukizungumza tunaelekea katika uchaguzi. Je, wanachukua hatua gani kuimarisha amani ama kudumisha, ku make sure kwamba amani inatekelezwa? Vile vile pia msikilizaji, kumbuka Jackson Ole Sapita, mkipenda mwite Jackson Nasore Ole Sapita, msikilizaji, aliwahi kuwa tangu mwaka wa 1985 alifanya kazi kama evangelisti wa jamii kule Narok, na vile vile pia mwaka wa 1987 hadi mwaka 1988. Vile vile pia bwana Ole Sapit aliweza kusomea katika eneo ama college ya Berea Theological College Nakuru mnamo mwaka wa 1989 hadi mwaka wa 2091, ambapo alipata diploma yake katika somo la theolojia. Vile vile pia msikilizaji, mbali na hapo, vile vile pia amewahi kusomea katika chuo kikuu cha St Paul's University Limuru kati ya mwaka wa 1990
14 hadi mwaka 1997 ambapo alipata degree of Bachelor ya Divinity. Vile vile pia kumbuka yeye ana cheti cha Research and Consultancy kutoka chuo cha Daystar University alikodunda pale mwaka wa 1999. Anyway, msikilizaji, historia yake ni ndefu, lakini leo ni baraka iliyoje. Zinga inabatizwa leo, sio?
Nakwambia, yani ndani ya nyumba tuko na Archbishop, sio mchezo, ni mtu ambaye yuko mahiri, amekakamaa katika hiyo, umesikia kwamba amesomea theology. Kwa hiyo yuko sawa na anaelewa masuala haya kwa undani zaidi.
Vile vile pia kumbuka yeye mwaka wa 2012 alipata honorary doctorate katika professional study akipatiwa na chuo kikuu cha California Global University for Lifelong Learning. Kwa hiyo si mtu mcheza. Bila kupoteza nukta, sekunde wala dakika, Jackson Nasore Ole Sapit, karibu sana ndani ya kipindi Zinga kwenye Radio Taifa. Chukua fursa hii uweze kumsalimia msikilizaji na mtazamaji wa KBC Channel 1.
Asante sana Rashid na mwenzako kwa nafasi ambayo umenipa katika kituo cha KBC siku ya leo, na wasalimu wote wanaotusikiliza na kututazama katika runinga hii, nikisema Mungu awabariki, awatunze na awape baraka ya kila siku, hasa siku ya leo na tukiendelea mbele. Basi nashukuru sana kualikwa niweze kuwa mahali hapa ili tuweze kuchambua masuala ambazo siko mbele yetu, na nashukuru sana.
Alright, ndivyo mambo yalivyo msikilizaji. Jackson Ole Sapiti yuko ndani na ni 1:30 na tuanze moja kwa moja. Kwanza bwana Sapiti, asante sana kwa kufika KBC asubuhi ya leo kwa mahojiano haya kipekee. Umekuwa kiongozi wa kanisa la Kianglikana humu nchini kwa kipindi cha miaka 6 sasa. Labda tutajie mafanikio yako hadi sasa kwenye uongozi wa kanisa lako kwa kifupi.
Asante sana. Nimeona mmenichambua kweli kweli, na sikuwa najua hiyo historia yote mnajua. Ila kuna moja mjataja, nilisomea pia katika nchi ya Uingereza. Chuo kinaitwa University of Reading. Nilifanya shahada la Masters in Social Development and Sustainable Livelihoods, ambalo linasaidia jamii, na sasa ninaunganisha jambo hilo pamoja na mambo na masuala ya kidini ili kuangazia maisha ya mwanadamu timilifu, roho yake, mawazo, mazingara na mtu toshelefu katika kuweka chakula katika meza. Kwa hivyo moja ya mambo ambayo sasa tumeangazia na ninaona inaendelea kufaulu nilipoingia katika uongozi, hasa katika nafasi ya kuwa Archbishop, ni kwamba tumeweza kuweka umisheni wa kanisa pamoja, ile tunaita pastoral ministry na social transformation ministry. Maana tunasema tunataka kuangazia mwanadamu kikamilifu. Tunaita mwanadamu ambaye ametimilika ni yule ambaye ana Yesu moyoni, ni mtu aliye na matumaini, ni mtu pia aliye na maarifa katika mawazo yake. Kwa hivyo swala la elimu ni swala kubwa, na kanisa limechangia pakubwa katika elimu ndani ya nchi yetu. Tunataka pia mtu mwenye ana afya katika mwili wake na ana afya ya mahusiano na majirani. Yani uhusiano wetu iwe ni uhusiano yenye afya, healthy relationships. Pia tunasema tunataka mtu mwenye anaweza kusalisha, mtu mwenye anaweza kuweka chakula mezani, anaweza kupata mapato ya kujimudu katika maisha, ili asiwe muombaji, asiwe mtu wa kutegemea wengine. Na hiyo ndio tunaangazia kuambia kila mtu inawezekana. Ukitegemea Mungu, ukijua Mungu, ukisoma, ukiwa na maarifa yako, ukijua hata kama si hujaenda shule ile shule ya kawaida, lakini unasoma yale ambayo inakusaidia, unasoma kwa jirani, unasoma kwa ile mwingine, kama ni kulima, kama ni ufugaji, yani unaiga ile mfano bora ya wale wengine ambayo wameendelea. Na hiyo yote inawezekana mtu akiwa ni mtu mcha Mungu ambayo anajua anaelekea wapi, ana matumaini la kusonga kesho, yani kesho yake naona ni bora kuliko leo, kwa sababu kuna kitu inamfuta hapo mbele. Na basi hiyo ndio tunataka kupata, mtu mwenye matumaini. A hopeful person is one who can be able to drive life positively into the future because there is hope.
Labda maneno haya ambayo yanazungumzwa na wanasiasa, wewe ni miongoni mwa viongozi wa kanisa ambao hawaogopi kutaja mambo yalivyo, yani mambo yalivyo hadharani kabisa, yawe mazuri ama mabaya. Nini hukusukuma kusema yale ambayo haswa wanasiasa hawataki kuyasikia?
Kimsingi kwa imani yangu, na pia nafikiri pia malezi yangu vile nimelelewa kule Masaini, ni kwamba mtu nimejifunza kwamba kama kuna jambo ambalo si sahihi, nisinyamazie kwa sababu italete madhara, na kama kuna mambo mazuri niseme pia kwa sababu itajenga mioyo. Kwa hivyo ninapenda kuangazia yale mazuri watu wanafanya kwa sababu inajenga matumaini, na yale ambayo ni mabaya na italete madhara siwezi kuogopa kusema kwa sababu italete madhara. Na nikiwa kiongozi basi sitakuwa nimesaidia ikiwa nitanyamazia mambo, na huwa napenda kusema vile zilivyo ndio watu waweze kuchambua, kwa sababu kuna watu wengi wanatumia lugha mingi ya diplomasia ya kutaka kusema nilikuwa namaanisha hivi. Awe na njia ya kuhepa, kama ataulizwa hivi anasema sikumaanisha hivyo. Mimi napenda kama nasema ukweli niseme ukweli vile ilivyo, kwa sababu na mara mingi nimesema na watu wananiambia sijui hiyo itaharibu mambo, itakuharibia jina. Nikasema mtu asinitetee kwa sababu kama ni ukweli ni ukweli, na kama basi sijasema ukweli, wacha niadhibiwe kwa kusema uongo kama nitakuwa nimesema uongo, kwa sababu tayari tamko limetoka, na huwa ninaambia Mungu kila wakati. Hasa niliingia katika uongozi huu wakati wa uchaguzi wa 2017, na hapo ndio nilianza kusumusia mambo na masuala ambayo yalikuwa yanaendelea wakati huo, na mara kwa mara watu wananiambia mbona ukasema hivyo. Na basi ikawa kile nilikuwa naomba Mungu kila asubuhi, naambia Mungu leo unifanye mtu wa kusema ukweli, na mtu wa kuwa na ile ujasiri wa kusema ukweli, lakini unipatie lugha ya kusema ukweli kwa lugha ambayo itaeleweka na watu wote, ya kwamba haitatafutiwa maana yake. Yani iwe nimesema na hakuna mtu atatafuta tafsiri yake, kwa sababu nataka kuwa symbol, na niseme in a simplicity way, in a simple language, ambaye mtu hata tafuta tena kutafuta ati maana yake ilikuwa tafsiri ni gani, na huyo ndio mimi.
Alright, msikilizaji, huyo ni Jackson, yuko ndani ya studio zetu za KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, ikiwa ni 36 dakika zimekwisha tumika baada ya saa 1 asubuhi, sawa na kusema 24 dakika zimekatika. Kumbuka kipindi hiki kinakujia moja kwa moja kwa njia mbili, msikilizaji. Chozi kinakujia kwa njia gani?
Unatupata vizuri kwenye hashtag ya Good Morning Kenya, unatupata vizuri kwenye hashtag ya Zinga, na vile vile unatupata vizuri kwenye Twitter handles za kwetu @Mwajumachozi, @Radio Taifa, @Mwamkondo, na vile hashtag ikiwa ni Good Morning Kenya, Good Morning, ama hashtag Zinga. Na kupitia nambari zetu za simu vile utaweza kutupigia simu kupitia 0700176699.
Alright, msikilizaji, kumbuka ndani ya studio tunazungumzia naye swala zima ili kuhusiana na jukumu la kanisa kabla na baada ya uchaguzi ni lipi. Kumbuka kipindi hiki kiko moja kwa moja kwenye runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 kwenye kipindi Good Morning Kenya, na hapa ndani ya Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya. Bwana Sapit, kuna swala hapa nitakuuliza, na ni swala muhimu sana. Umeonekana katika mstari wa mbele kuweza kupinga wanasiasa kuweza kutumia sehemu za kuabudu kupiga siasa. Sawa, lakini lazima tukubali bwana askofu, huyu Mkenya ambaye yuko pale kanisani anahitaji kuuziwa sera na kiongozi ndio wafanye uamuzi. Sasa iwapo huyu mwanasiasa hatapata nafasi ndani ya kanisa na kuna waumini wengine hawawezi kwenda kwenye mikutano ya siasa, unawaweka katika fungu gani?
Kile nimesema ni kwamba sehemu za kanisa ni sehemu ambalo tumepewa jukumu moja la sehemu za ibada, na wakati tunaabudu Mungu ni wakati ambayo kila Mkenya ambaye amekuja kanisani, matarajio ya kwanza si lengo la kuja kutafuta sera za siasa. Alikuja kutafuta neno la Mungu ambalo litambariki maisha yake, ambayo itamuelekeza kwenye uzima wa milele. Na katika nafasi hiyo ya madhabahu, ile kitu ambayo tumekubaliwa na si kukubaliwa, ile matarajio ambayo inatarajiwa na wote, na hata nafasi ya kuweka jengo hilo kwa jengo la kanisa. Na kumbuka Rashid, wakati tunaweka jengo la kanisa wakfu, tunasema kanisa hili limetengwa kwa matumizi mengine yote isipokuwa ya ibada. Kwa hivyo wakati tunakuja na kutumia kwa matumizi mengine ambayo sio ya ibada, basi tutakuwa tumefunja sheria yetu na tumefunja sheria ya Mungu. Nakumbuka Yesu alipopata wale watu walifanya hekalu kuwa mahali pa kufanya biashara, aliweza kuwafukuza wote nje na kusema nyumba ya Baba yangu ni nyumba ya maombi. Kwa hivyo kile tunasema ni kwamba tunataka kulinda sehemu ya madhabahu, ndio mtu akiingia pale kile ambaye alikuja kutarajia kupata ni kusikia neno la Mungu na atosheke na abudu Mungu na alete mahitaji yake kwa Mungu, alete maombi yake kwa Mungu, na tusije tukapata mawazo mawili ya kwamba kuna neno lingine limekuja kuchanganya huyu mtu ambaye alikuja kuabudu. Maana wanasiasa wanapokuja kuuza hizo sera zao na wanauza kwa njia ya matusi, kwa sababu sijasikia mwanasiasa wa Kenya nauza sera bila kurifaa kwa yule mwingine mpinzani wake na kuanza kulete maneno ya cheche ya matusi, na tunasema basi kanisa itakuwa mahali pa matusi. Na hiyo ndio nimeona ikiendelea, nikasema hapana, kanisa la Kianglikana tumefikia mwisho. Na nilijaribu kutamka hayo na wakawa wanaendelea kuja. Nikangoja siku ile nilikuwa na ibada kubwa na walikuja wote wameketi, na nikawaambia wana habari, leo habari haitatoka kwa wanasiasa, itatoka hapa, na kama kuna habari hapa basi hakuna habari. Basi na hiyo imeanza msururu, na nimeona makanisa wengine wote walifuata, na siku hizi tumeona wameenda kuuza sera zao kwa barabara, wameuza sera zao kwa soko na mahali pale nje, na nafikiri hiyo ndio Mungu anaheshimika, kwa sababu sasa watu wakija kanisani wanakuja wakiwa na matatizo chungu mzima. Wengine wamelala njaa, wengine wamekuja wagonjwa, wanataka maombi, mwingine amesumbuka na mawazo nyumbani, anataka tu mahali ya utulivu. Sasa akiongezewa cheche za siasa, basi atapata baraka namna gani? Kwa hivyo nikasema lazima tutunze mahali pale, maana tukiharibu, sio mwanasiasa ataulizwa, ni mimi kiongozi wa kanisa nitaulizwa na Mungu, sina wanadamu na Mungu, ulitumiaje nafasi na sehemu yangu.
Wow. Labda swala la maendeleo la kanisani. Kanisa linahitaji maendeleo. Naye mwanasiasa ana hela za maendeleo yale. Na ukiangalia wanasiasa wakiwa na pesa, maendeleo pia yanahitaji pesa. Unatenganisha vipi labda siasa na pesa za hawa viongozi wa serikali?
Kile tumefanya sisi kama kanisa Anglikana Kenya, na ndio nataka kufundisha Wakenya wote na makanisa na viongozi wa kanisa, ni kwamba kanisa linahitaji maendeleo, na maendeleo si jambo moja. Maana sasa tumefanya maendeleo kwa ni harambee ya ujenzi wa nyumba ya kanisa ama ya hall pale, ama ya shule, lakini maendeleo ni ile inaangazia maisha ya watu, kutafuta lishe bora kwa watu, kuhakikisha hospitali iko na dawa, na tunafanya hayo kikubwa kikamilifu. Ukiangalia kanisa ya Anglikana tuka na Anglican Development Services ambayo tuna development partners, tunafanya mambo haya kwa wananchi, ya shule, ya elimu, ya food security, ya climate change and adaptation, kurudisha cover ya green cover katika nchi ya Kenya. Tuko na Green Anglican Movement. Ukienda kanisa ya Methodist wako nayo, ukienda 7 Day Adventist wana 7 Days Adventist Development Agency, ukienda Catholic wako na Caritas. Kwa hivyo kanisa haijakosa mrengo yake na mkono wake wa maendeleo. Lakini hii ambayo tumeleta sasa ati ni wanasiasa ndio wataleta pesa, nafikiri hiyo labda tujirudie pekee yetu, kwa sababu makanisa pia inaendeshwa na mchango ya Wakristo, na Wakristo wanaleta mchango yao kwa amu aina mbalimbali. Wana sadaka ya kila Jumapili, tuko na fungu la 10 ambayo watu wanasema fungu langu la 10 la mshahara yangu sehemu hii ninaleta kanisani. Tuna ile inaitwa Thanksgiving services, watu wamevuna, wamelete mavuno yao, ama mtu amepata promotion anataka kusema mimi natoa shukrani, tunatoa shukrani zetu. Lakini kanisa pia lina uwezo wa kumobilize na kusema tuna jengo fulani tunataka kujenga, na anaambia waumini wote sasa kila mmoja achukue nafasi yake. Tuseme kama ukija leo hii All Saints Cathedral tumemaliza jengo la watoto tunaita Children and Teen Center, tumetumia milioni 800. Na ni harambee moja tu tumewahi kufanya. Siku hizo zingine Wakristo wamejitolea kwa simu zao, wametolea electronically, kwa sababu inatangazwa na wanaona umuhimu wa ile kazi wanafanya. Na hapo hatujasema hatutaki pesa ya mwanasiasa, lakini hatutaki pesa ya mwanasiasa ije itangazwe kanisani kana kwamba hawa watu ndio walikuwa nalete. Akija kama Mkristo wa kawaida na yeye ni muamini wa hiyo kanisa, alete mchango wake na atoe kimya kama vile watu wote wanatoa kimya kimya. So hivyo tunasema hatuna ile pesa tena ambayo tutakuja kusema fulani ametoa milioni ngapi, fulani ametoa milioni ngapi. Maana hapo sasa ndio tunaweka mambo ya kutafuta uungwaji kisiasa, kutumia pesa na sasa hiyo ni kama kanisa kununuliwa. Ama mimi kama kiongozi na nimeona viongozi wengi wanasema kanisa lake halina uwezo wa kununulia mhubiri wake gari, ama pengine labda wanamjengea nyumba, alafu wanasema tulete yule mwanasiasa aje tutachangie pesa tumjengee nyumba ama tununulie gari. Naona hapo ijapokuwa sasa imekuwa mtindo kwa wengi wetu, lakini haitakuwa sahihi, kwa sababu wakati inahitajika kusema ukweli na labda yule mtu ambaye amenifanyia hiyo ndiye amefanya makosa na ninataka kusema ukweli. Sasa nikitaka kusema ninakumbuka na atasemaje, na unajua alikuwa ameniletea na bado ninatarajia ataniletea ingine. Na hivyo sasa ndio nasema tujilinde kwa kufanya kanisa iwe na uwezo wa kutafuta mapato yake kwa njia halali, kwa njia ya haki, na hawa wanasiasa wakija kama Wakristo wa kawaida na wachangie ile mfuko ambayo watu wote wanachangia, na si lazima waseme wamechangia ngapi. Hakuna ile tunatangaza ati fulani ameleta sadaka pesa ngapi. Tuweke hapo na basi kanisa lipangie. Kile pia nataka kuuliza makanisa, tuwe watu wa mpangilio, kwa sababu mara mingi hata ile hela inaletwa kanisani inaisha tukiharibu, hata hatuweki kwa ile kazi ya huduma ambayo ilikuwa imepangiwa. Na ikiwa tutapangia vizuri, hata tupangie kusalisha, kanisa litakuwa na mapato ya kila siku. Mfano kama sisi sasa tuna investment arm ambayo tunaita church commissioners. Hawa ndio wanaweka investment ya retirement benefits zetu, wanaweka investments ambayo sasa tuna uwezo wa kusaidia diocese mbalimbali na mahitaji yao, hata na uwezo wa kupatia loans ambayo wanaweza kujiendeleza kujenga mijengo yao. Tumejenga real estate sasa hapa Nairobi inaleta mapato. Kwa hivyo licha ya sadaka, kanisa likiwa na njia nyingine mbadala ambayo inaweza kusalisha na inasalisha kwa njia halali na inatimiza sheria, tunalipa kodi zetu vile inatakikana, basi kanisa halitakuwa na ile hitaji kubwa ya kuwa kama inalia mpaka fulani aje asaidie ndio tuweze kusongesha injili mbele. Na tukifanya hapo hivyo, basi kila mtu atakuwa na dignity yake. Mimi sitaki kuwa kiongozi ambayo ati mpaka huduma yangu isonge ninaweka mkono juu nitarajie mtu wa kuweka kitu, maana hiyo itadent ile prophetic ministry yangu. Nikitaka kusema vile Mungu anataka niseme na kukosoa kile ambaye natakikana nikosolewe, ninaogopa kwa sababu fulani amenisaidia. Sitasema kwa sababu unajua alinifanyia. Hata Wakristo watakuwa nasema kwa nini unasema hivyo? Unajua hawa ndio wanatusaidia. Kwa hivyo tukifikisha kanisa hapo, basi hatutakuwa tunafanya kazi ya Mungu, tunafanya atakavyo ama watakavyo hawa ambayo wanaleta ufadhili.
Alright, saa 2 bado dakika 14 unaendelea kusikiliza KBC Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya, na wakati huo natumai kwamba macho yako yako kodo kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1 kwenye kipindi Good Morning Kenya, ambapo kule upande wa pili wanasema role of church in pre and post elections, na upande wetu tunasema jukumu la kanisa kabla na baada ya uchaguzi. Bwana Sapiti, nikirudi kwako, mwaka wa 2007 2008 hakuna mtu ambaye anataka kuona taswira iliyotokea katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, kwa sababu tumeona mataifa mengi kwa sasa watu wanalia Ukraine, mambo ni mabaya. Na inasemekana kwamba mwaka wa 2007 hadi mwaka 2008 kuna taasisi mbalimbali ambazo hazikucheza jukumu lake kuhakikisha kuna amani, ikiwemo kanisa. Na sasa joto la kisiasa nchini limepanda. Je, jukumu lenu kama kanisa kutuliza ile joto tunapokaribia uchaguzi mkuu ni lipi?
Jukumu letu ni kubwa. Kwanza kabisa ni mafundisho. Na tuna nafasi kubwa, kanisa lina nafasi kubwa, msikiti ina nafasi kubwa, temple ya Hindu ina nafasi kubwa, kwa sababu taasisi hizi ina watu wanajilete wenyewe kila wiki wanakuja kusikiliza mafundisho. Na kanisa lina jukumu ya kufundisha Wakenya kwanza. Mungu anatuita tuwe watu wa kupendana, si wa kufurugana. Tuwe watu wa kufanya bidii kwa mambo yetu yote. Kwa hivyo injili ina mafundisho mengi ambayo inatusaidia tuweze kuishi watu ambayo watatangamana, wataishi vema, wataishi vizuri. Na katika mafundisho yetu pia tuwe na nafasi ya kufundisha kwamba uongozi wa nchi na taifa na wakati wa uchaguzi haipaswi kabisa kuwa ni nafasi ya Wanakenya kuingia katika hali ya kuchaguana kwa misingi ya kabila ama misingi ingine ambayo inaleta mgawanyiko katika taifa. Tuchague watu ambayo wana sera ambayo watatuletea maendeleo na si mwenye pesa, kwa sababu sasa siasa ya Kenya imekuwa ni kuchaguliwa ni mwenye pesa, na tukichagua mwenye pesa basi tutakuwa tumeuza future yetu kwa ile hela kidogo ambayo tunaonyeshwa wakati huo, kwa sababu hata wakati huo haupewi pesa ya kutosha. Unapewa 200 hapa, 1000 hapa, 2000 hapo, hakuna kitu utafanya, ni ile tu naenda kutumia siku hiyo na inaisha. Lakini utakuwa umeuza dawa za hospitali kwa sababu hutapata dawa ya hospitali, utakuwa umeuza barabara, utakuwa umeuza yani maisha yako yote, kwa sababu umechukua hela ya mtu ambayo amekudanganya kwa hela ambayo akifika pale yeye kazi ya kwanza ni kutafuta kuscoop ile pesa yake kurudisha, maana atakuwa ametumia hela nyingi sana. Tumeona mara kwa mara, na imekuwa historia katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, imekuwa recorded. Bunge mpya ikichaguliwa, kitu ya kwanza wabunge wanashughulikia ni kuongeza mshahara yao. Na basi kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu walikuwa wametumia hela mingi, na sasa kwa sababu wametumia hela mingi, hiyo ndio wanataka sasa nafasi yao ya kurudisha ndio wapate ya kuletea watu wakati uchaguzi ikifika. Kwa hivyo nasema jukumu la kanisa ni kufundisha wananchi ya kwamba tutafute mwenye sera, tutafute mwenye kutuunga pamoja, tutafute mtu ambaye hata tufundisha mambo ya kikabila, tutafuta mtu ambayo ataangalia Kenya kama taifa moja ambalo itakuwa na heshimika mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu, na sisi wenyewe tujue sisi ni watu wa kufanya bidii. Kile tunataka serikalini ni serikali ambayo itaweka ile miundo msingi ambayo inawezesha mimi kukua. Yani the government is to provide an enabling environment. Waweke barabara ndio niweze kulima na kusafirisha mazao yangu kwa soko. Wahakikisha kwamba tuko na afya ya kutosha na tuna accessible healthcare. Hiyo inawezesha mimi, maana nikiwa na afya nitafanya kazi. Lakini yale mengine kuhakikisha tuko na soko ili mimi nikifanya kazi bidhaa zangu hazitakosa soko. So serikali ikiweka hiyo miundo msingi ya kuwezesha mimi kufanya kazi, basi jukumu ni kufundisha mwana Kenya kwamba hakuna serikali itakuja kuweka chakula kwa meza yako. Hakuna serikali itaweka chakula kwa mdomo yako kwenye kijiko. Serikali itaweka miundo msingi, ni bidii yako itafanya wewe ufaulu ama usifaulu. Kwa hivyo nataka pia kufundisha Wakenya ya kwamba tuwe watu wa kujitegemea, tuwe watu ambao tunajua ya kwamba tukiwa na serikali itadumisha amani na itaweka hiyo miundo msingi. Sasa ni mimi na wewe, mbio yetu, akili yetu, maarifa yetu ndio itatuwezesha kusonga kwenye ladha moja kuingia ladha nyingine, na Wakenya lazima wajue hivyo. Saa hii wanasiasa wanatoa ahadi ni kama, yani ukisikia vile wanaongea ni kama baada ya uchaguzi Kenya itakuwa kama binguni. Maana ile vitu wanaahidi, wacha niwaambie Wakenya, hizo vitu hasitafanyika. Tumeahidiwa 2007, imeahidiwa 2013, imeahidiwa 2017, haijafanyika. Hata hii haitafanyika. Kwa hivyo kila ninasema tuchague mtu mwenye atadumisha amani, tuchague mtu ataweka Kenya pamoja, tuchague mtu ambayo atahakikisha ile miundo msingi itaendeleza maendeleo ya barabara, hospitali na iwe na madawa ya kutosha, stability ya taasisi kama elimu, maana hiyo ndio msingi yetu. Watoto wetu wakisoma vizuri, tuwe na afya, tuwe na lishe bora, mashamba inawiri na tuwe na soko, basi hayo mengine waachia mwananchi. Mwananchi, wewe kazi yako ndio kuwezesha wewe kusonga kutoka hatua moja kwenda nyingine, na ni bidii yako itakuinua, si bidii ya mwanasiasa, si bidii ya mtu mwingine, ni wewe utafanya kazi.
Bado dakika 8 ama zimesalia dakika 8 itimie saa 2 kamili, ambapo tutakuwa tunaruka kwenye awamu yetu ya 3. Lakini kama ndio unafungulia redio ya kwako, tuko na Reverend Ole Sapit ndani ya nyumba. Huyu ni mtu ambaye amekomaa katika masuala haya ya dini, na labda tukiuliza tu swali, mnatumia njia gani labda kuepusha kauli chafu kutoka kwa wanasiasa ama matamshi ya chuki? Maana hicho ni ama ni hayo ni moja hapo ya vyanzo, hicho ni moja wapo ya chanzo cha machafuzi ya uchaguzi. Labda mnafanyaje?
Tunajiandaa vyema, na hata leo hii niliwacha mkutano mwingine na endelea ufungamano ya viongozi wa kidini ya Kikristo, ya Kiislamu. Tunakutana pamoja kusumusia masuala ya vile tutafanya kwa matayarisho, yani ni ile mafundisho nimesema, na baada ya uchaguzi tutafanya nini tulete Kenya pamoja. Na kwa njia ya maombi tunatumia maombi kwamba Mungu anatusikiliza, atatulinda, atatuepusha madhara kwa nguvu zake mwenyewe Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa sababu tunajua ana uwezo wa kubadilisha nia za watu, ana uwezo wa kujenga upendo ndani yetu, na Mungu akitujengea hayo. Lakini sisi hatutaomba na kuketi chini, tutakuwa makanisani tukifundisha watu, tutakuwa msikitini tukifundisha watu. Kama kanisa Anglikana tulikuwa na maaskofu wangu kule Mombasa juzi tu, na tuliweza kumap out region zetu za Kenya, na tukasema maaskofu fulani katika region hiyo yenu ndio mtachukua usukani kuleta jamii zote pamoja, kuwafundisha kwamba iwe uchaguzi ama hakuna uchaguzi, jamii zote lazima tuishi pamoja, maana ndio tutafanya biashara pamoja. Hakuna jamii Kenya kwa msingi ya kikabila ambayo inajitoshelesha yenyewe. Lazima tuhusiane, tunafanya biashara katika kila town. Tunataka kwenda kwa miji zote na tuambie watu ile business hata kama inamilikiwa na mtu ambaye si mzaliwa hapa, basi hiyo business bado ni yetu kwa sababu iko hapa na ndio inaleta yale vitu muhimu ambayo tunahitaji. Tuseme kama business ya mafuta ya gari. Hiyo town ikikosa mafuta ya gari ati kwa sababu fulani amefungiwa hiyo business maana ametoka mahali pengine, si gari zote za huko itasimama. Na ndio ama kama ni supermarket, hiyo ndio inaleta uwezo wa sisi wote kununua bidhaa ambayo tunahitaji muhimu. Kwa hivyo tunaambia watu usije ukaharibu biashara mwenzako ama kudhulumu mwenzako ati kwa sababu ametoa eneo ingine, kwa sababu ile biashara nafanya hapo ndio inatusaidia sisi. Ndio wewe ukiuza ng'ombe yako una mahali ya kutaka ile vitu unahitaji, na sasa na wewe utakuwa na mahali ambayo utahusia kile ambayo ulikuwa unayo. Maana wenye ng'ombe kama kule kwetu Narok kwenye mifugo hawakuli mifugo yao kwa wanaleta mji ambayo ni makabila zingine wako. Kama hauna hiyo soko ya kupeleka hiyo ng'ombe yako, basi mtoto wako ataenda shule. Kwa hivyo tuna jukumu la kufundisha, na hata baada ya uchaguzi tuna jukumu kubwa la kuzunguka kuambia Wakenya uchaguzi vile imeenda lazima tukubali matokeo. Uchaguzi vile imeenda lazima tusonge mbele. Uchaguzi vile imeenda tusiuliza kwa machafuko, na kama kuna mtu aliye na malalamiko asipeleke watu kwenye streets, aende kotini, na kwa sababu koti tuko nayo, basi atafute haki kwa njia ya kotini, si kwa njia ya machafuko na mapigano. Kwa hivyo haya ndio mikakati tunaweka, na tunataka tuone kwamba tunasidisha yale mafundisho.
Alright, msikilizaji, hizo zinayeyuka utadhani sijui ni barafu imewekwa ndani ya maji. Mtazamaji, kumbuka ni kipindi ambacho nakitazama kupitia kipindi Good Morning Kenya kwenye runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1, na wakati huo unakisikiliza kupitia KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, ukiwa nami Rashid Momkondo na mwenzangu Chozi la Almasi. Kwa hiyo leo Zinga na Good Morning Kenya zimepata baraka za Bishop Ole Sapit. Labda tukimalizia Bwana Sapit, kwa sababu kuanzia saa 2 msikilizaji vile vile pia kuna mgeni mwingine tukizungumzia siku ya kimataifa ya wanawake. Uchukue fursa hii kuweza kuzungumza na Wakenya ujumbe wa amani wanapojitayarisha kwa uchaguzi mkuu, na kauli yako tunapoadhimisha siku kuu ya kimataifa ya wanawake.
Ujumbe wa amani ni kimsingi Kikristo. Amani ndio jambo muhimu katika maisha ya mwanadamu, na Yesu Kristo mwenyewe aliweza kutuombea kusema amani iwe nanyi. Alipotabiriwa na nabii Isaya alisema mfalme wa amani atasaliwa. Na Yesu mwenyewe alituambia wamebarikiwa wanaotafuta amani na watu wote. Kwa hivyo tukitafuta amani basi ndio tutajengana, na amani si jambo tu la kusema na mdomo. Amani ni kushiriki kwa kuishi kwa amani. Na nataka kuambia kila Mkenya, amani ya jirani yako ndio itakuwa amani yako, na amani yako itakuwa amani ya jirani yako. Kwa hivyo tukidumisha sisi amani na kupendana na kufanya kazi kwa njia ambayo itatupatia nafasi ya kufanya kazi, basi amani ni chombo muhimu sana katika maisha na msingi wa mwanadamu. Maana katika mazingira ya amani ndio tutafanya biashara, ndio tutatangamana, ndio tutatembea, ndio watoto wetu watasoma, ndio tutasafiri bila uoga, na tutaishi mahali popote bila uoga tukidumisha amani. Kenya ni yetu na tutadumisha taifa letu kwa amani.
Labda kabla tufunge kipindi Chozi kwa sekunde 30 uzungumze na Bishop. Bishop.
Sisi tungewapatia nafasi kidogo, hata kama ni msikilizaji mmoja Rashid akaweza kuuliza swali ama unaonaje?
Muda wetu hauturuhusu. Kipindi ni kitamu lakini muda hauturuhusu.
Labda unazungumzia vipi wale wanasiasa ambao labda wanapigana vita kimdomo, wakirusha maneno makali, kwa mtu anamwambia huyu hivi, huyu anamwambia vile, labda unaweza kuambia kitu gani viongozi?
Nataka kuambia viongozi hakuna point unapata kwa matusi. Kama kuna kitu itafanyika utapoteza point zako kwa sababu utajulikana kama mtusi. Na sijui kama Wakenya watachagua wenye kutusiana. Na kile nilikuwa nasema, kuna wakati tumeambia hawa waache kutusi. Nataka kusema kinyume vile nasemanga mambo wasiwasi. Hii ni nafasi ambayo ningetaka kuambia mwenye kujua kutusi sasa atoe hiyo matusi yake yote, ili tujue mtusi ni nani, na kuambia Wakenya chagueni mtu mwenye atajenga amani, sio mtusi. Ndio Wakenya watapata nafasi ya kusema huyu mtusi hatuna haja na yeye. Na tukifanya hivyo basi watanyamaza.
All right, asante sana. That's a good place to end the discussion this morning. Asante sana Bwana Sapit, na mimi na huyu mwenzangu Chozi tutatafuta nafasi tuje tukutembelee, utupatie baraka za hiki kipindi tunachokifanya na Radio Taifa kwa ujumla. Uko tayari kutupokea?
Kabisa.
Asante. Msikilizaji basi na mtazamaji, kufikia hapa hatuna hili wala lile ila kukamilisha kitengo hiki. Asante sana Bwana Sapit kwa kuja ndani ya studio zetu, na walikuja mapema zaidi, na tutakutafuta zaidi tuweze kuzungumza na wewe, na tutatafuta viongozi mbalimbali wa kidini tuweze kuzungumza nao juu ya uchaguzi na amani. Maana gani Chozi?
Kabisa tutakuwa tunazungumzia amani kuanzia muda huu mpaka uchaguzi utakapofika, na tutakuwa tunahitaji viongozi kama hawa ndani ya studio kila wakati, au sio?
Msikilizaji basi hatuna la ziada. Kumbuka umekuwa ushirikiano wa KBC Channel 1 kwenye kipindi Good Morning Kenya, na vile vile pia ushirikiano wa KBC Radio Taifa kwenye kipindi Zinga. Ole Sapiti anatoka hapa lakini anaenda kwenye kituo chetu cha radio Nosim FM kinachotangaza kwa lugha ya Kimasai. Kwa hiyo unaweza kushiriki nasi pale. Asanteni sana wapigaji picha wetu hapa, bila kusahau waelekezi wetu Ben Kamuti, na vile vile pia ndugu yangu Mato Njeru, na watangazaji wenzetu kutoka Good Morning Kenya upande wa pili, na vile vile pia dada yetu Lucy Wahome, na vile vile pia Geoffrey Onditi. Kutoka kwetu tutasema tuna la ziada. Hivi punde ni muktasari wa habari, kisha tutakuwa naye Mwanasha Gaserego kuweza kuzungumzia masuala ya wanawake kote ulimwenguni. Asante sana Kibishop, sasa tunakupa ruhusa, unaweza kwenda. Lakini kabla hajaenda wa Kibishop tupate picha naye, si ndio Chozi?
Kabisa.
Naona Jordan Ngari.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
Now, members of Parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice for the following motion.
The debate.
Will as many as that opinion say aye?
The statements.
A statement on an issue of general topical concern.
The petitions.
Order number 4, petitions.
Stay tuned to KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa for live proceedings from both houses of Parliament from Tuesday to Thursday. Live, uncensored, unedited. KBC, your national broadcaster.
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
I'm not ready for a relationship, so you can relax.
I swear I spend hours and hours thinking of nothing else but him.
Then you had better tell me where you got that safe from.
You have until the end of the month to raise money because
politicians roam from January to December, spilling hate all over. Right now they're spreading hate even globally. What would you expect of your citizen? You know, sometimes people fail to look at the root cause. You look at how mad the guys can be on the road. But sometimes we fail to look at what is causing this. And these are the ingredients that, when flamed a little bit, can turn into uncontrollable menace that sometimes we call election violence.
Yes.
Because we are having very poor and bad leadership. And they are learning from the best who are on top, which, to me, as I mentioned, is a time we need to really rethink who we put outside there as our leaders or in charge of our governments, because the things they do have the trickle effect goes way down to the citizen.
Sure.
And it's turning people into wild beings that we've not been. And to me, I condemn that. It is barbaric.
Yeah.
It should not be. It is uncivilized. We should treat each other better. And the best way is to address this right.
And I've seen in this country where people even get mugged as people watch. What has become our society? Like just as I said, you see, prosperity in any society has to do with a certain value system.
Yes.
And that value system must start from the top and it must cascade downwards. Like in my home or in our homes, we must instill certain values and discipline among our family members, among our children.
Absolutely.
Kenyans are actually learning from the top leadership in this country because we cannot tolerate that kind of thing. Today, I mean, and I probably will come to the politics part of this debate.
Yes.
When you are, for example, a deputy president using certain unpalatable words, calling certain elders foolish, stupid, whatever. So you can imagine, this is somebody maybe with a following. They pick that cue from the top leadership.
Yes.
So this thuggery that we saw against this woman yesterday, they're actually picking it from what's happening around.
It's a true reflection.
It's a true reflection of who we are. So to be honest with you, I think we just need to say that we are a very mediocre society, and I think we need to confront that mediocrity and idiocy about ourselves, and let's try and do something about it. And that's why, for me, I think when my friend here says the Kura Court, you probably come into the race too late. Who are the options? Are the options the kind of thing that we're seeing today?
Yes.
And I wish my brother here would say to me, I think I want to offer myself to lead this country and to make sure that I instill certain value system. Because, for example, I mean, just to tangentially, when, for example, the President of the Republic of Kenya says we are losing 2 billion every day
to corruption,
and you're doing nothing about it. So we are normalizing theft, just like we are normalizing this kind of thuggery on our roads. Look at the way, I mean, you know, Victor, to be honest with you, I drive on the roads here, and I see a lot of indiscipline with the matatus, with people of Nduthi, even with just other drivers. We actually are a society that has no self-respect, self-value for ourselves. Sometimes, what do you lose by just stopping for 1 minute for a pedestrian to cross the road? Just 1 minute, or even a matter of seconds. But you see the way we are driving on the road, we are just like some crazy,
like we are going to war.
Crazy society. And I think for me, these values, I mean, you know, I'll give you an example before I finish. You know, when I was a student in England, I remember then there was a prime minister called Tony Blair. And Tony Blair decided to speak about one aspect of the society, a social aspect, that there was a lot of obesity in England. That obesity was actually affecting the health care and the health budget. And he spoke about it. This wasn't about politics necessarily, but he said, listen, can we live a healthy life? I think we need to begin to see leadership in this country speak about certain social problems in our country. Especially, for example, that kind of behavior on our roads. You know, the bad language as we see in the politics. People abusing each other left, center, and right. We need to begin to see a leadership in this country begin to moralize society so that as a society we inculcate in ourselves certain cultures, certain values. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that. Why? Because our leadership in this country, you know, so you might think that is far-fetched. What was happening with that woman is far-fetched from the leadership of this country. It's actually connected. It's a mirror, a reflection of who we are, right from the top.
Absolutely.
So yes, and I say, I mean, I hope she's okay, and I really hope that Mr. George Kinoti is watching this show, and that he will definitely put his CIDs, you know, to make sure that all those bastards, I'm sorry to use this language.
The police said that they arrested 32 people and they'll be arraigned once investigations complete. But then, Gitonga, you must be ashamed as a man watching your fellow men doing such a thing to a helpless woman, all alone in a car, screaming for help, but, I mean, in broad daylight.
Thank you, Olo, first of all, for the opportunity to be in this show.
Yes.
First, I would like to say that it's unfortunate, and I would like to condemn the act that I saw on social media. Yesterday, I was in a certain WhatsApp group, and the ladies there were giving their experiences through sexual harassment in town and everything. And I realized this society of ours, we require to have some sort of cleanup in our morals. And it goes all the way to the top.
Right.
And I agree with my
quite interesting that
here.
all of you are talking about from the top.
Yes.
From where we come from, Justice will agree with me that you say that fish starts getting rotten from the head, not from the tail. Okay.
Because what we are having is, I agree that politicians mostly use borders and empower them for the sake of their own interests.
Yes.
But how about we empower these people economically, and we ensure that they create a livelihood, that they can come out of poverty? Because most of them pull together mostly whenever there is an accident, whenever there is a politician coming, and it is all about handouts, and it's all about them trying to get that opportunity to get something.
Right.
But I think where we are failing is condemning the whole border sector. That's where we are failing. There is quite a number of people in that sector that are actually very good, that are actually morally upright, and I have many friends in the border sector. I have engaged with the border sector since 2017, and I will tell you a case of Embu. Mostly you will not find such things, because most of them have formed very strong circles that even we support and empower them to ensure that they go somewhere.
Yes.
But we cannot say that sector doesn't require a little bit of control so that we don't have accidents running all the way to sexual harassment that we saw on social media. On women, I would like to say that, first of all, I would like to say Happy Women's Day to all women. And it is always said that women are actually more than men in this world. And Obama said that you cannot win when half of your team is not given an opportunity to play. So it's a call to our country and our leaders. Let us empower women, protect women, and ensure them even in this coming election.
Right.
We don't want the affirmative action coming in and out. Let them get an opportunity to ask for positions and get them rightly and fully in the right time.
Because being an International Women's Day, the President actually will be at the Kenya School of Government today to commemorate that day, and we just hope that he's going to talk about it. The police are on that case. They are going to be arraigned once investigation is complete. But then, let's talk about matters politics today. And the Deputy President is in the UK for his tour, but he said, I'm not taking any of the failures of the Jubilee government. Justice.
Well,
he's the second in command.
You give Deputy President a lot of unnecessary attention on issues of governance, especially on areas where I would say we major a lot in minors, because you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. So far, this is a guy who has been in the helm of power, not just for the last about 10 years.
Right.
But previously, we know what he is capable of. And sometimes it may be unjust or unfair to over-expect from that individual. And sorry, Daktari, they tell you that you're late. We've been in the race. Actually, this time, if you didn't know, we will meet at the ballot.
That's true.
At the presidential level.
The more the merrier.
Exactly, for purposes of demonstrating to fellow Kenyans that Kenyans are not that bad. Kenyans are very good people. And we need to burst that bubble that we can only be led by the bad girl, bad boy. And that has been the culture, to a point that trust and honesty and value systems, actually there have been endemic species within this field. People think that you cannot be upright and still be a leader. And some of us, that is the mission and the bubble we want to burst, to make sure that yes, they are honest leaders. The good book says, when the wicked are in authority, people mourn.
Yeah.
But when the just are in authority, people rejoice. The reasons to why the fruits and even the news, and you switch on your TV, where it is all hate. Where did love go to?
Yeah.
Where it is all treachery. Why must Raila or Uhuru always exalt the Machiavellian Grecian concept of leadership, where it has to be treachery, it has to be fear, it has to be deceit? Where did honesty, where did truth, where did love go to? I think that is where I would drift to the side of the wisdoms of Solomon, where truth also carry the day. And as we talk right now, what actually is more endangered is truth right now. The things that actually are in question is issues to deal with the trust. Corruption has been glorified to a point that now we sanitize them with the political rewards. Why? Because certain individuals have presented themselves. Actually, I don't call them leaders, I call them dealers. People who, instead of serving their people, they sacrifice them. If they were able to feel Kenyan citizen right now, they would know the level of inflation, the cost of living. Actually, the problems that they've caused, which we don't expect them to solve.
Yes.
Because as we talk right now, the reasons why we are having high tax rate as we talk is because of unnecessary heavy borrowing, which people are doing actually because of some guys that they are keeping gates for, whether it is the East, whether it is the West. Victor, Kenyans have been reduced to choose between a fox and a wolf. Who should eat you?
Yes.
Because all of them are dealers who are guarding gates for others to ravage our market, to close our industries. Why would the KRA even close an industry that is performing? Because you need to get... What informs such thought? And the president is still there, going to celebrate, and the deputy is roaming all over at the taxpayer, with the taxpayers' money, seriously.
Yes.
And then in our watch, these are what we are saying, enough is enough. It should not be happening in our watch. If anything, this actually, I agree with you, these guys, if they had conscience, they would have stepped down like yesterday and said that they're not able. Because this mess and this vicious, the labyrinth that we're being taken around, year in, year out, and right now they're spinning it around again. And then they're calling it two horses or horses. Well, I would rather choose to be an ego, because all sometimes can run headlessly without thinking.
It stops being a two-horse race because all of your presidential candidates you speak, apart from him, who is a member of the National Assembly, who is vying for Manyata constituency, but it's no longer a two-horse race.
No, actually it's a myth that the media is conceptualized and selling out there at the expense of merit and content and ideas, because the chaotic environment that we're having right now is because of the chaotic ideologies that are being spread. If we could focus on sound ideologies which can propel this country together, and that is my address to the media, because we can't focus on the wrong area and expect solutions. We have individuals with proven track record, with substance, with sound mind, with character, that as we talk right now have stood the test of time and can lead and have been tested. And yet we choose to focus on individuals whose moral values, whose characters are wanting. We know their chaotic life. And that is what we are spreading all over the country.
You speak so well, but you wrote a letter, Daktari, and you said the two gentlemen should resign. It's not the first time we are hearing such.
But did the media even carry the letter? Because I pointed out real issues. Let me tell you, okay, let's start from the Deputy President.
Right.
You see, William Samoei Ruto is the epitome of political dishonesty in Kenya. He epitomizes it. He lives it. He epitomizes political lying and lies in this country. Let's go back memory lane, because you see the problem with us in Kenya. Sometimes we have got such short memory when it comes to political discourses.
Right.
2013. This is the same person, together with his president now, who are almost dressed like twins. Dressed in a red tie, white tie and black trousers, promising Kenyans all manner of things. Oh, Jubilee laptop for each child. Who lies to a child? Who lies to a child? I mean, we're all parents here. Who lies to a child? You know, laptop per child. We'll create 3 million jobs. We'll bring you bundles in wards, in each and every ward in this country. 1,450 wards. We'll bring you bundles so that vijana, you can now begin to do your political lies. Now, you see, the unfortunate thing about our country is that a lot of us have surrendered this country to a tiny minority of individuals who continue to lie to us because of their own personal interest. And one of the things that they have crafted, Victor, is to say that there are no permanent enemies in politics. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
It means that when the political, when the politics tilt towards one person, then I can join them. If you look at, for example, the current political formations, whether it's Azimio la Umoja, me I call it Azimio la Ukora, One Kenya, again another lie, Kenya Kwanza, whatever it is, you know, look at all those individuals. So what I'm inviting Kenyans today to look at, analyze justice, analyze Ekuru Aukot, what I'm putting on the table. But also, let's analyze William Ruto, let's analyze Raila, let's analyze Mudavadi, and let's say, okay, let's look at the track record of these people. And you know, just as I said something very important, that Kenyans like to sweep under the carpet. We keep on saying that we are one of the most educated countries in sub-Saharan Africa. But it seems to me our education has never benefited us at all. We actually go to schools as just as passengers, but we live without an education. Because education ought to inform our decisions, how we make our lives better. How is it that we cannot begin to interrogate somebody's educational qualification or, you know, or professional experience and say, okay, maybe if this person became our president or our member of parliament, you know, like say Gitonga wants to be a member of parliament, Manyata, I think let's give Gitonga, because we believe with his education, with his professional training and experience, I think he's likely maybe to pass better laws. He's likely maybe to...
As a nation, as we reach there yet, where we interrogate personalities apart from...
I think, Victor, that's why we're having this show.
Yes.
We're having this show so that you can also begin to communicate to the people of Kenya, wait a minute, this nonsense of two-horse race, when the election, when the race has not even been declared by the electoral management body, IEBC.
Yes.
You know, and again, Victor, this is where we also have problem with you guys in the media. It is you people who use this lingua of a two-horse race. You know, you said that in 2017. But you know what? It was Third Way Alliance Kenya, under my leadership at that time, that actually saved this country from another 2007, 2008 post-election violence. Why?
Yes.
Because, you see, when we nullified Uhuru's election, and this is what most people do not know, when we nullified Uhuru's election, and by the way, it was Third Way Alliance Kenya that actually caused the nullification, not ODM.
You're the petitioner.
Yes, I was a co-petitioner. I supported Raila Odinga's petition, but we are the only ones who actually produced an audit of the transmission of results that actually enumerated illegalities and irregularities. That audit report was filed with the Supreme Court. Nobody objected to it. But of course, the loudmouth politically went and said they are the ones, we didn't care.
Yeah.
But going forward, Justice Maraga Emeritus said what? Go and repeat this election afresh under Article 140, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya. Meaning, include all the 8 presidential candidates into the ballot. What did they do? They went and captured IEBC. Okay? For strange reasons, for different reasons. ODM, at that time, I think it was called NASA.
Yes.
Now it has transformed to something else.
Yeah.
Knew they would not beat Uhuru on tribal numbers alone. And that was a fact. And I remember sitting down with Raila and told Raila, forget this crap of 10 million strong. You can't beat this guy even on votes alone. Kiambu, 1.2 million voters alone, hata ukiongeza Nyanza yote, ujafikia bado Kiambu. Bado ujaongeza Muranga, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Nyandarua, you know, Meru, whatever. So on tribal mobilization, there was no way Raila Omolo Odinga was going to beat Uhuru on those numbers. But what do we do? So Raila knew that, but he had no intention to participate in the second election. Uhuru, on the other hand, wanted to participate in this election so that they can shame and embarrass Raila a second time, to prove a point. Guess what? Who saved the country? Again, it was Third Way Alliance Kenya that went to court before Justice John Mativo. And we said, no, the Constitution of Kenya is being violated here because IEBC has only gazetted 2 individuals as opposed to all the 8 candidates.
All the 8. So all the 6 actually did not participate in the repeat election.
No, well, they were handed into the ballot whether they campaigned or not. But I personally participated. But I am telling you this, and to Justa's point, I think we are failing to interrogate people's motives into politics. If you look at all these coalitions today, it's about personal interest. Because today, look, Mudavadi not long ago, I think 2 months ago, was actually abusing Ruto, saying that this man, his salary is this and that, he deputized all the problems that we have today in Kenya. But now they are buddies.
That's again
Uhuru, look, going back to the point we started earlier about the morality in this society, Uhuru was calling Raila what? Muganga, Kikuyu, Kimodo Mogoroki, Kimodo Geke, sijui nini. Raila on the other hand was calling Uhuru Mulevi, anavuta bangi. Those are our leaders. So why are we surprised when these bad manners cascade downwards? And I think let's give a chance to as many Kenyans as possible. I welcome Justus into the race, and I hope that Kenyans will give us the opportunity to expound what we are offering them in this August election.
Absolutely.
And let nobody say it is too late, because, Victor, today, if a thief enters your house and is in your living room or bedroom, is it too late for you to scream and for help?
No. You'll act immediately. I
will act immediately.
Absolutely.
So let me not accept the fact that, a thief has already entered my house. Sasa to niibie to steal from me.
And Daktari, and for all the intent purposes, we have got 2 presidential aspirants here. Again, to demystify the fact that we only have 2 horses running for that particular seat. That is clear.
So let it be a 4-horse right now.
A 4-horse race.
But I also know there is Ambassador Esther Waringa, who is running for president. There is Ruben Kigame, who has declared running for president. I think Mukisa Kitui has thrown in the towel. I think he's joining Azimio. But so far, at least you can say of 6 candidates.
Yes.
Justus here, Ekuru Aukot, Ambassador Esther Waringa, Ruben Kigame. I don't know. As Raila said, he wants to run by the way.
He's not yet declared yet.
Even Ruto, has he declared?
They have not yet declared yet.
Exactly. Under which party? So far, there are only 2 presidential candidates.
Let me bring in Gitonga here. Gitonga, you are running for that particular seat. And when you hear the 2 gentlemen speak, something rings to your mind, because at the end of the day, it goes back, the trickle-down effect takes effect.
Well, I'm very honored to sit around 2 presidential candidates.
You should.
But I think, although I have a problem with my 2 friends here, because we cannot ignore the vast area required to cover when you want to become the president of this country. And as they're saying, it's not too late, but I feel it's kind of too late for them to win the race. And I have a lot of respect for Daktari. I know he has done a lot for this country. I have followed his steps for a while now, from when he said he wanted to fight the president for the presidency, through Punguza Mzigo and all that. And I feel like, yes, if we are serious, we want to transform this country, we should not let the 2 players that are always in the news, and you're mentioning their names because they're out there, play alone. It is important for Third Way Alliance, for it to have been active since 2018, and in the idea that you are going to do what you said you're going to do in 2017. And the challenge has been that we let the people play, the media plays along, and then at the end of the day, as I said earlier, it remains a 2-horse race. And the fact is, even if you look at the polls and everything, even if you listen to the people on the ground, you will hear them say, these are the people vying for presidency. So it's a challenge to my friend and Justus there. If you're vying for presidency, just a minute. If you're vying for presidency, just understand the area you're supposed to cover.
Let me just clarify so that you understand the race that we.
I think give us a rejoinder to that.
Yes, I need to finish my point so that you can join in. Because your first question was the issue of Jubilee government and who should share on the failures of the Jubilee government.
Yes.
I want to clearly say that yes, the deputy president was part of Jubilee government in the first term. in the first term. In the second term,
he's the deputy
if
president.
you remember clearly,
let's be honest.
Is he earning salary right now?
Order number one
is he earning salary?
was to change and give roles.
Be honest.
No.
Just a minute.
We have to get it clear.
Yes.
He is still the deputy president.
He's still the deputy
under
president.
Jubilee. Under
He's
Jubilee
still the
administration.
And
right?
we clearly know the work of the deputy president is to assist, is the principal assistant to the president.
Right.
So, whatever he's supposed to do, whatever he's supposed to undertake, is supposed to be given to him by the president. And the fact is, there has been a change from 2018 going forward on the way the government of Jubilee has run. I can fully agree when the president, I mean the deputy president, shares the failures of Jubilee government in the first term. That is including whatever Kuru Okot here is saying on the laptop project. I agree.
My brother, Gitonga.
But the fact is, since 2018 going forward, there has been a change on how this government ran, and executive order number 1 was to remove a lot of issues that the deputy president was handling and were given to Matiang'i.
Victor,
any point of proof?
Victor,
yes.
quick one, Victor.
Dr. Because that's an allegation that has been flying all over.
It's not an allegation.
No,
it's a fact.
Spoken by the deputy president himself.
We were all glued to the TV watching that.
Victor.
Okay.
Victor,
yes, Dr.
Victor. One of the saddest things about our country is when I hear young people like Gitonga play to the political lies they've been fed with. And let me tell you, Gitonga, if you're not going to change and think outside the box the way you're thinking, this country will never change. It will sink with you young people. Listen, we all know how politics is being made in this country. William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta came together.
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta knew, I want to win, but I want somebody else who can bring me a constituency. And in that constituency, there's always agreement. This is the real politics, my friend. So stop being lied to.
Thank you.
I know you probably want a ticket with UDA or, Kenya Kwanza. It's okay. It's perfectly, you are right.
Which we can still give you.
Yeah, we can still give you a direct ticket.
But to clarify further,
let me finish justice. See, Gitonga, let's not lie to each other here. And let's not lie to Kenyans, because see, when you come to a show like this, and KBC is well broadcasted, let's speak to Kenyans and let's prick their conscience. The truth for the matter is, when these people meet together, they say, okay, what are you bringing on the table? What am I bringing on the table? So let's not exonerate Deputy President William Ruto. We know that he was given a certain portion of cabinet positions for which he actually
has not resigned from.
Which he has not. And let me tell you, yes, come on. We all know that some of the appointments from, say, Rift Valley and from his party, URP, Goja, Gitonga, do you want to say that? Do you want to listen?
Reducing him to a
do you want to listen?
Okay.
Do you want to listen?
Do you want to listen?
Time. But I'll also tell you one thing. I mean, I know you're blocking your mind from that.
Okay.
URP and TNA came together. Each one of them agreed on certain cabinet positions.
Right. They actually went half-half.
Half-half. That's a fact. So don't deny that. Secondly, let me educate you on the Constitution of Kenya, because I was in the team that wrote this country's constitution. One of the geniuses of Kenya's constitution, Victor, was a chapter called Leadership and Integrity.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Can we take,
now, if we disagree...
Can we take a break?
We can, but just in a minute. Okay. If we disagree with somebody, integrity calls on you, for example, to resign.
Exactly.
You cannot say, I'm hanging around, but still throwing stones at the same person, same government that you formed. That is lack of integrity.
My director is on my ear, so let's just take a break. I'll come back to you, Daktari.
Yeah.
We just started on the aspect of Chapter 6, but is it being followed? Something that we need to interrogate. We'll be right back after this.
That's
nimekukanya mara nyingi sana uachane na Kate, lakini usikii mwanamume wewe. Matatizo, jibu maswali yangu vile ninavyokuuliza. Wasikia?
Basi salamu usinipe, kwako pia utanikaribisha.
Utoka hapo sio kanguka kwa maji. Unataka kuniletea shida wewe?
Unatafuta nini?
Mbona ulikuwa utaki nije?
Sitakataa uje. Ukasisha watu amani. Kisa ni mali mama.
On cinemas and theatre this episode,
courage or die in cowardice.
Join me, Jacqueline Masharia, as we reveal the film Mission to Rescue.
Which is okay.
We're trying to persuade
but
you
it's
to
okay. To learn from each other. So
all right.
You understand what tactics are we apart.
Okay, director, let's go straight to them. Let's just go straight to them. All right, the discussion is still picking. Let's just go straight to director.
Yes.
Director, yeah.
So, let me tell you. Right. There are two things I want to say before Justice comes in.
And by the way, welcome back to the show.
Thanks,
no,
Victor.
There are two things I want to say to
yes,
my
right.
good brother Gitonga. And but I wish him very
Let's start
well.
from chapter 6 where you
Yes. So, you see, like I said, one of the things that is special about our constitutional democracy is the creation of Chapter 6. And by the way, it is the only constitution in the world. The only constitution in the world. And I've participated in a couple of constitution-making processes in a number of countries in Africa that has dedicated an entire chapter on what is called leadership and integrity. Meaning, Kenyans wanted a certain type and character of leader. A person, when they occupy that office, he gives respect to that office. You know, he does not demean that office.
Yes.
You know, so that when like the way we say when we go to church, we respect our priests, our pastors. You know, we revere them. That's the same thing that Kenyans wanted. Now, when someone like William Ruto comes to tell us that he does not share in the failures of Jubilee, which are these failures? Why can't he say Jubilee has failed ABC? Because today he's on a salary courtesy of Jubilee government, Jubilee party. Right. You know, he's on taxpayers because of Jubilee. He is one of the people who actually promised Kenyans in 3 months' time there will be a stadium in Wote. So in 6 months' time, in 9 months' time, in this and that, he promised all these things. If he has not delivered those things, integrity calls on him to quit. And I want to tell my brother Gitonga, Justice and I will present ourselves to Kenyans at the opportune time.
Right.
Okay? And I want Kenyans to interrogate the ideas that Justice and I are putting on the table. And I will invite my brother Gitonga to read a book called A Team of Rivals, The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln in the United States was not a popular president, but he was competing with other presidential candidates.
Yes.
Some of them were very strong on matters of defense. Like one of them was called Hans, was very strong on matters of education. Another one was strong on foreign policy and all that. But when Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, because he was a general guy, he was full of generalities, but he did not have tangible, strong, proposals on matters that affected America.
Yes.
What did he do? When he was declared the president of the United States of America, he said, listen, I think Justice had a very strong point on matters health. Gitonga had a very strong point on matters defense, because we need to defend ourselves. He invited them. And that's how they became a team of rivals.
Yes.
But for them, what they did, Victor, they placed the country first. They placed the United States first, not themselves. They said, if Gitonga Justice can join me in cabinet,
bring your expertise,
right, then we will serve the American people properly. I wish we could go that way in this country we call Kenya, that we all love. So that we stop this crap and nonsense of saying it's a two-horse race when we do not even see what ideologies are these individuals actually expounding.
burst that bubble of a two-horse race. And I think sometimes it happens to those who are linear in terms of understanding the political process or the dynamics of wars, how they normally happen. If you sit with the military, they'll tell you that in military they have combatants, and they're very good. And in the combat, we know where you must be very strong, guarded with the metal, like Goliath of the Gath, and the spear and the shield. And making a lot of noise. Like, Goliath was he insulted the Israelites for 40 days. And, there was no one to actually address or confront Goliath. For 40 days, no one. And
then they sent him.
There's also artillery where you fight, and then with horse riders as well. But there's also slingers. And sometimes slingers are they're least studied in combat. And David happened to be one. And a slinger, apparently, if you go back down history lane, you realize even the Romans have recorded the effect, how dangerous slingers were. Actually, slingers are equivalent to shorthand guns today.
Yes, snipers.
Which you can't just confront like that. And of course, snipers, as you mentioned, you hardly see them, but they are lethal. So when you are in a combat or a victory and you only see one aspect. I think this is why Goliath was easily taken away.
Yeah.
And the benefit, these tactics of politics have enjoyed in our political space is because there have been no alternatives. So we don't have to be same old, same old. Let me tell you, when they rushed to bombers to go and pass PBI, we were not there. Actually, I was at Oru Park, no one covered.
Were you invited?
Well, I was not going there. After reading that thing, I knew it is illegal. Actually, I went to court straight away.
Why did nobody?
And today, I went to court. I petitioned. I'm the one who petitioned boundary limitation.
Yes.
You chose not to see me because you are busy looking at the combatants who have even failed, and still you are sanitizing and glorifying them and lifting them up. My point is the tactics of winning votes. And that's more so, and that's what we could have been even focusing on, Victor.
Yeah.
Because we should be talking about why moral values are not working. Is it our education system? Can we address it? We should be talking about this high inflation. Why are taxes going up? What are we to be doing in tables like this? Not throwing names that desecrate a holy, a platform like this, my friend. Naming people who actually have been the root causes of our problem in such a place where we should be addressing root causes. I think that is actually undermining a table like this to bring the names of Ruto and Raila where we need to be focusing on solutions. If they're men enough, they would be sitting here and addressing it themselves. And if they're not here, let's address matters on the table.
Juma, they will never even come here.
Exactly.
Victor today invited them.
Because they are not able to be accountable. They will not be able to articulate
write a letter to Raila and Ruto and tell them come to Good Morning Show.
Yes, they will not.
And face the Kenyans.
Yes,
I will.
Yes, and we sit down like this and face. So, Victor, on the issue...
I will come back to you briefly.
On the issues of candidacy, I tell you, there's legal provision on how you need to vie for various seats in Kenya. And we can't glorify impunity. The individuals who have been subjecting Kenyans into a campaign mode, year in, year out. And they are violating outrightly. To a point that even the names that you're mentioning, if anything, if you had conscience, that guy would have resigned. Why is he still drawing
and I think that's why Chapter 6, we are privileged enough that we have Daktari here.
Why is he still drawing salary from Kenyans?
1 second. The crafters of the Constitution, where vetting and the due process should be taken. But just as we just sweep it under the carpet.
We can't afford, when we are on the table like this, we do not sweep anything under the table. We must put them to account. And they can lie to others all the time, but not to us, because we watch them and we said, let the truth stand.
What do you stand for as Justice and Freedom Party?
The current Jubilee government, if anything, actually in around a year ago, I called for the disbursement of Jubilee government. Because we had a state of confusion, and we still have, where public resources are not managed properly. The constitutional provision for the opposition they're not oversighting and they're not functioning in their role.
Yes.
And the government actually is in opposition, and some they've even neglected their manifesto and their agenda.
We don't
they
even
no
know what they're
longer follow
implementing.
Agenda 4. So as we talk right now, we are in actually things that are not of help to the show or the intention we had. Now, Victor.
In 2 seconds.
I'm just informing him.
Okay.
I have aspirants in Embu right now. And various aspirants. And I'm sorry it's not you, and I'm willing to have you on board as party, as Justice and Freedom Party. And we did not get them in Embu because we didn't go to Embu. You understand?
Okay.
We are not here just for intellectual rhetorics, which are abstract, which are dishonest, which are leading us to nowhere. If that is what we are waking up in the morning to engage on here, Victor, then there's no need of wasting Kenyan time. Somebody else can utilize this airtime.
And Victor,
so if you're going to take us in that course, then we will let you have a show and also call us for a show that is dignified and have manners and decorum of addressing issues that have called us for this.
Allow me to go to Kenya School of Government.
Can I go to Victor?
In 1 second.
I want to tell Victor.
I have Beatrice on the... Just hold. I have Beatrice on the ground. The Kenya School of Government. I'll come back to you briefly just to give us an overview of what's happening. Beatrice, good morning from Kenya School of Government. Perhaps you just give us an overview of what's happening there, Beatrice.
Thank you very much, Victor, from the studio. My name is Beatrice Getonya. Yes, I'm coming to you live from Kenya School of Government, where President Uhuru Kenyatta, together with the First Lady Margaret Kenyatta and Rwanda's First Lady Jeanette Kagame, will be leading Kenyans in marking this year's International Women's Day. And I take this opportunity, first of all, to wish all the women, wherever they are, a happy International Women's Day. This year's theme, as we celebrate this year's International Women's Day, is gender equality today for a better or a sustainable tomorrow. Just to give you a breakdown of what will be happening here today, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to arrive at this place at around 11 a.m. And once the president arrives together with the First Lady Margaret Kenyatta and Rwanda's First Lady Jeanette Kagame, the president will unveil a commemorative plaque to officially open the Kenya School of Government Convention Center. And then later they will proceed to officially open Margaret Kenyatta Institute for Gender and Social Development. And to note today also, the trailblazers, or this year's trailblazers, will be awarded in today's function. We expect speeches from President Uhuru Kenyatta and some of the key speakers who will be addressing the issues of women. As we all know that International Women's Day is a day where women celebrate their successes, their achievements, and also see how they can tackle their challenges or the challenges facing them today. And just to mention to you, Victor, together with the viewer, women today are still facing major challenges that are blocking them it's hard for them to break the ceiling for their successes and achieve whatever they want to achieve. Some of these challenges include harmful cultural practices. Imagine today we are still talking about FGM. Some of the communities in Kenya are still practicing FGM. And we are keen to see what the president and the government will be saying concerning this particular issue, because it is a major challenge to girls, it is a major challenge to women, and we'll be keen to see what action plan the government will be talking about in handling some of these. Access to education is a major challenge still to children, girl child, and we're talking also about children marriages, young girls getting pregnant, not being able to continue with their school. As much as we have seen the government still providing space for these girls to go back to school, but it's still a major challenge to girl child. Reproductive health is still a major challenge to women in some parts of this country. We are keen to see what the president will be saying about this, and the speakers of today's function, what they will be saying about this. Today's function is coming at a year where the as Kenyans, we are looking forward to a general election. Women are still facing major challenges in getting these political seats. Come 9th August this year, how many women are running for offices? How many of them are going to get these positions? And we all know that if women are not in these offices, political spaces, our issues as women will not be able to be tackled with the seriousness that it deserves, and we only hope that this can be handled, and especially it's a bigger challenge to Kenyans, that they can put more women in those spaces so that the issues of women can be dealt with. Gender-based violence, not to mention just an issue that happened the other day, seeing a woman being molested by border riders. I don't even know what to say about this. We only hope that this will be tackled. We want to see how the government is going to handle such an issue of women being mishandled. I think I don't want to say much about that issue because it's an issue that is very close to me, to my heart as a woman. But we only hope that the issue of gender-based violence, we want to see what the action plans will be taken. So it is a big day for women today, and we can only wait and see what is the government bringing on the table in terms of handling some of these challenges that we hope as women to overcome. Victor.
And Beatrice, you know, you've correctly put it. This comes at a time when the country is heading to an election. And in studio, I have got 3 gentlemen, and 2 of them are presidential aspirants. One thing that is still a teething issue is a 2/3 gender rule. That is still hanging in Parliament, has not been effected, and we are going to another cycle of an election. What do you feel about it as a Kenyan woman on this particular day?
Sorry, I didn't get you clearly. What was your question?
What's your take on the 2/3 gender rule, even as we head to an election and we celebrate this particular day? It's the last one, perhaps, this year.
We can only hope that more women will come out to run for these offices, because I think women are up to the challenge. We can become better leaders. We have seen this. We have seen institutions that are being run by women doing well. We have seen women in political seats. We have seen governors who are women doing very well. They are much capable than our counterparts. So I think women should take up the challenge. We need to step up. Women need to go ahead and take these spaces, because this is the only way that women issues can be handled by people who understand what women go through, people who relate with the challenges that women go through. And these are women. They need to go for these offices. I hope I've answered your question, or I got it right, yeah?
To Beatrice, and of course we'll be keeping tab with Beatrice Gatonya there at the Kenya School of Government. The President and the First Lady is expected there at the Kenya School of Government on this particular day when we are celebrating International Women's Day. And by the way, to all women out there, we celebrate you. Back in the studio, gentlemen.
And Victor,
right.
You know, I just heard Beatrice there say that there will be a commemoration of launch of something called Margaret Kenyatta something?
Yes.
I was just wondering, are there no other women in Kenya that can actually be named after some of these, on a very serious note? Because you have got Margaret Kenyatta Road, Margaret this, Margaret that, Margaret that. Surely, there are many mothers in this country. And for me, I want to say that, 2 things.
Daktari.
No, but I'm just being honest. Seriously. I mean, we could as well just even do a balloting and say which mother can we dedicate a certain...
At least some
today,
public participation.
Some even public participation. How was this decided? Anyway,
okay. Let me ask you. You are the drafter of the Constitution, and the issue of 2/3 gender rule is a teething issue.
It is, and let me tell you,
to this particular point,
it's a failure of implementing the Constitution of Kenya.
Yes, there was a room for that.
Jubilee government. I was in the team that wrote this country's constitution.
Yes.
And one of the things that we did deliberately is to say we want to give women of Kenya a voice. We started by creating 47 seats, what we call the women representative.
Yes,
because we wanted women in Kenya to actually go to parliament with seats that will not compete with men, but we wanted them to use those seats to address some of the most fundamental issues that affect women.
Yes.
I must tell you, I'm a bit disappointed with women parliamentarians, even though we create those seats for them. I would have wished to see women, for example, pick something like reproductive health care, for example, that affects women and girl child, and actually run with it. But instead, what I'm seeing, I see a lot of these women, and I say this with tremendous respect. A lot of them, they just say, they are dancing on these political podiums, for their party leaders. When I came with Punguza Mizigo bill, one of the things that I really wanted to do was to equalize representation in parliament, and said, scrap all these 349 MPs. Let's have one woman, one man from each of the 47 counties of Kenya, so that we create 50-50. Why did I do that? I said that because I saw that government of Uhuru Kenyatta from 2013 has actually been disrespectful of women. Because they never even met the third in cabinet alone. Up to now, not even a third, by the way, of women are represented in cabinet.
Yeah, which was challenged by the former CJ.
Not even a third of youth.
Yes.
And that's why for us at Third Way Alliance Kenya, we've decided that one of our principles of the proposal we take to 2022 is that we are saying women and youth must take over government. And my challenge to women today, this being a very important day for them, is don't tell us you're the majority in this country. So what? Use your numbers, seek leadership, because I see women leadership right from conception. When a woman conceives of a child, the way they take care of that child,
that is leadership itself.
That for me is leadership. Bringing up that child up to like the men we are today here. And I think even you, Victor, next time, Bana, don't just invite men on a show like this. You should also bring a woman.
That's a slap on my face.
So let's practice some gender parity even at KBC.
Noted.
On a light note.
Just in addition to the same, actually I may not be very hard or harsh on women in terms of participation in the political process, because our political space have been hijacked by certain, it's trickling down all the way from colonialists.
Yes.
And the beneficiaries of these institutions are personalized. The democratic space with the populism, where individuals actually have taken over institutions. You find that a person is the party. Without a person, there is no party. And that's why sometimes we, with all due respect, we don't want to talk about certain names or certain individuals, because how they act is actually the opposite of the constitution and civilization. So sometimes we don't regard them as good leaders because of how they are handling and even running their political spaces, where people are rewarded with a political certificate based on right now, Victor, some we are calling Bermuda Triangle because they are not searchable. People are pouring money, buying this nomination certificate, right, left, and center. And at the end of the day, they are not given to the people who deserves them. Actual representative of the people actually end up outside in the cold. But the sycophants who are able to shout, who are able but cannot represent individuals, cannot champion any bill or any issue, they're the ones who are in. So at the end of the day, we are judging our women unfairly because the representation that they are having is not reflecting the actual picture or the true capacity or the capability of the women.
To enrich your point, I want to just briefly to pass to Gitonga, maybe to enrich your point, let's also challenge in our society. When women offer themselves for leadership, let's listen to them. Let's not make this like a man society only, because it has a ripple effect. I know many women who offer themselves, but because of how masculine our politics has been, how violent our politics has been, so we also now want to challenge our society. When women offer themselves, give them a chance. Hear them out, because these are people who brought us up. Because it's women who pushed for us. It's important
because at this particular point, I don't know how many women you are running against in Embu, in Manyata constituency. None.
For member.
Okay, that now clarifies what Dr. is saying.
But I think I would like to actually challenge the political parties. It's good we have two political parties here. I think on this issue of gender representation, it starts with the political parties. And that's where we have failed most, because you find there's a lot of...
I don't know which political party, because in my political party, from my neck, we are 50-50.
Just a minute.
As women are 60.
But I want to say that when it comes to giving these women opportunity to run for political seats, because the women position is a position that, yes, it can be taken advantage of, and at least it can bring some balance. But for us to feel the women leadership, we have to have them in the highest of offices. We have to have them as governors. We have to have them as senators and members of parliament. And where it can start is on these nominations of political parties, whereby women should be given some sort of some leeway to actually get a good platform. If somebody has good policies and if somebody has good agendas for the people.
Victor,
and
if we want to
that is the point.
If we want to
where
respect women, let's
a
change the lingua. Forget this thing of let's give them. You know,
that's
this language of
I think
give women.
You have not understood me.
No, but let's change the
giving
language.
them platform.
Okay.
I've said giving them platform so that they can be able to compete with Mokonji, who has this idea and another woman has this idea. The challenge is it's a men's world, even in these political parties. Let's actually put it as it is. Very few women will get a chance. And I think you'll find that we'll always cry the same as we continue, because we have not looked at where we can start. Political parties are supposed to have a way of balancing gender from the start. And I think even in your bill, you had that some sort of a proposal on that line, isn't it?
And I was surprised that women did not support me fully. I mean, I wish they had supported me.
Victor, just to inform you on what we've done on that.
In 1 second.
Yes, actually, as a party, we've taken this matter very.
I think you're taking a lot of my time.
No. As a party, we've taken.
He's a presidential candidate.
I'm just answering you because I have the answers here.
Okay.
As a party, we've addressed that and exhausted it conclusively.
I think
in that we have.
Well, let's be more presidential now. Take a break. Let's be more presidential and take a break. When you come back, we're still having this. Issues to do with the gender parity will always be an emotive issue. So let's just take a break. We'll be right back to finish on the last bit of this discussion. We'll be right back.
That's.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
I did something stupid.
Dad, what are you talking about?
It seems like he's not going to agree to your divorce with Pinky.
You said you wanted to marry Helen, but you were meeting with Shannon in secret and colluding with her to fool me.
I didn't expect you'd return my kindness like this. You even tried to take what belongs to Pauline.
It won't be long now, and we'll be staying with Dad.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
When our members of Parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice of the following motion.
The debate.
Will as many as want to be to say aye.
The statements.
A statement on an issue of general topical concern.
The petitions.
Order number 4, petitions.
Stay tuned to KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa for live proceedings from both houses of parliament from Tuesday to Thursday. Live, uncensored, unedited. KBC, your national broadcaster.
Welcome back. We are on the last beat of this discussion with three gentlemen giving their best advice and, their input on this particular show. So let me finish with Gitonga because he had a point. Gitonga, talking about something to do with representation before I go to the next and last chapter of this.
So as I was saying that the challenge with women in these political positions is the weapons men use to actually abuse them and to throw them out of the race.
Right.
We use issues of language of probably who has married who, where have you been married, and that issue comes in and it becomes a challenge. So I was challenging the political parties to ensure that in their code of conduct we are protecting women in terms of their name being maligned in terms of their gender and where they're married and what women represent.
Right.
That was my point.
All about ideology.
Victor, I don't think it is a problem with the political parties, because I don't have that problem in our political, in Third Way Alliance Kenya, where I'm the party leader. I think it's a societal problem. It is voters' problem who now look at a woman and say, oh, you've been married, I don't know where, so you cannot run here. That's not a political party's issue. It's our own societal problem. It's our mentality. It's the way we view women. It's actually, the disrespect we seem to have for women manifests itself during political quests. And for me, I think, rather than make it a political party, let's now prick the conscience of society and say, by the way, you must respect women. Women are as good as men in many things. As a matter of fact, if you look at, for example, the way we take care of our homes, if it wasn't really for women, sometimes I think men were a bit cantankerous when it comes to certain issues.
Actually, even the good book says that a righteous woman builds a home, but a foolish one breaks it down literally with her own hands. Okay, gentlemen. So the party nominations is coming next month, right? And it's one of the hardest nuts to crack as party leaders, I believe so. And people say that once you have that party ticket, you are as good as nominated, you are good as elected. Just as to start with you, as a party leader of Justice and Freedom Party, how many members do you have currently, registered members of your party?
About 80,000 members. Right. If you look at party list, of course, growing. And of course, aspirants are also growing. I've learned that aspirants, the Kenyan problem of people coming last minute, like actually these weeks we're much more busier than the last month.
Yes.
We probably may be talking about having trained probably 300 aspirants so far. We have a lot of focus in respect to the Kenyan, the Constitution. And the Constitution lay a lot of emphasis on persons with a disability, or special interest group, to put it correctly, where women actually is part of the same category. We just launched Persons with Disability League, Justice and Freedom Party. We had launched previously Women League.
Yes.
And we've been partnering with various organizations, NDI, Oslo Foundation. Actually, the training just ended, I think 2 days ago in Mombasa, where our women aspirants, actually were taking them through understanding the electoral process, so that
I think
they are
that's
fully
one of the most missing things, even in the political parties, that most of the aspirants are not taken through the party.
They are not enabling them, and as a result, they are left to what is mentioning, the societal conditioning, which, if you equip them well, they're able to withstand these things and change the societal mentality.
Yes.
As well as we are doing this, because again, I'm a bit hesitant to also pick the activism role. A perspective that the Western use in separating the male, against setting a male against the women, where this gender is against the other gender. My emphasis should be that we should be having a total unified community where people function together, where priority is given to the best. As we talk about representation of the interests of women, then women are best suited to represent and vocalize the interests of women. And at this, even as we pursue that, still, marriage should be at the table. You don't just throw it because so and so is a slave queen, or the other way, the way they are doing it in other quarters. I hear there's a lot of bedroom to boardroom, which actually has abused the women representation. There are women with dignity, women with character, women with guts who are able to articulate women's issues.
Yes.
And as a party, we are making sure, not just talking. If you look at our NEC, by the way, women are over 60% of that NEC, and they are serving very well. If I can tell
commendable.
you, I've never had dependable partners like that. Okukota, I know you had a lot of challenges in your party, and I can confirm to you that Justice and Freedom Party, over half a decade old, we've not had issues because the majority of our leadership is. And they're giving me a very easy way.
I'll tell you why we had a challenge in our party.
Right.
Because of the changes that we really wanted to bring to this country.
Yeah.
The Punguza Mizigo Bill was more popular than that nonsense called BBI, Building Bridges Initiative. And our proposals were very sound. But see, because again of the dominance of politics in this country, so and guys were touting me, oh, join BBI. I said, listen, I cannot join BBI because I don't see any value in BBI. BBI is about tribal politics, about individual. But Punguza Mizigo was actually going to transform this country from the ward level. That's why we came up with the Ward Development Fund, because we said this is the only way you can equalize this country speedily. You know, because many times when you have got an MCA who is not in good terms with the governor, the people of that ward are denied money. So that's why we came with Punguza Mizigo. So yeah, the political pests invested my party. They came in, they crawled in, but eventually we are fumigating and cleaning it up.
You started sanitization.
We are sanitizing it, and eventually you see where they have ended.
Yeah.
You know, we managed to remove the snitches and rats in our party, but now the party is cleaning up. And we are ready to tell our story to Kenyans, and our manifesto will still remain the Punguza Mizigo.
I'm quite interested in understanding the issue of nomination because, Gitonga, you know, you are running on a UDA party.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel about nominations? Because it's quite competitive, so to speak.
First, I would like to tell you, Olo, that for us to have democracy in this country growing, and for us to have calling ourselves a real democracy,
right,
where we are supposed to work on the democracy of this country, is actually in the political parties. We have a challenge with the political parties not having any serious ideology, and they just have an individual who they idolize and who you're in good books with, you'll go far. And that is where the problem starts. I'm in the UDA party, and I joined UDA number 1 because I feel they have a good ideology. The issue of the issue of economic transformation of this country will not always depend on what happens in Nairobi. And we need to have everything starting from all the way down there. And the Jubilee government came with a very good ideas, but they have never taken shape, because the implementation, as it tickles down, it always foils. In the nominations, in the UDA party, I know nominations will be free and fair. And I know many people from outside, just a minute, many people from outside will say otherwise. But I have been there, I've seen how things are being done.
Yeah.
And I trust the process. And actually, I'm not alone in UDA party. I'll tell you the truth.
In Manyata constituency.
In Manyata constituency, we are close to 4 candidates.
All right.
And we sit down and look at how things will run during nominations. I know my friends here will have a different view, but as long as
actually I have a different view.
As long as
in 2 seconds, please.
Yes,
all right.
yes, as long as we have political parties that cannot be vibrant enough, and there's a reason why UDA is attracting that many.
When is the nomination by them?
Many candidates. I mean, if you look at it right now, it's a party that has most of the candidates falling in.
Oh, really?
And that's a reason. I know. Your Justice Party might not have a lot. I've heard you're only 80,000 members.
Victor,
so I would like to.
The reason why I asked
today is the 8th. Today is the 8th of March.
Yes.
Yeah.
2022.
Yes.
I think I wanted to remember this day.
We have an NDC on
because
15.
our brother here will come here again crying that Alikarangwa kwa is a nomination.
No, Shetani Shindo.
I want to wish you well.
The reason why I asked you that question, you know, UDA party is a new party.
Yes.
And
it has grown.
Okay, it's growing, all right. What really happens is that at the nomination process, there is a lot of cry, there's a lot of, you know, name calling and what have you, the backroom dealings. That's why most people say that if you have got some strength, you'll get that certificate. Strength is an anonymous word that I don't want to use.
Money.
You'll I don't know, but then you'll get that certificate. As a young person who is vying for that particular seat in Manyata constituency, which one would you go for? Direct ticket, universal suffrage? Would you go for negotiated democracy in Manyata constituency for that reason, for maybe?
No, everything boils down to popularity on the ground. Because if you want to win a party ticket, you can win a party ticket, then at the ballot, you get another person who is popular than you. But if it goes down to actually the majority, and it is free and fair, it is a clear assurance that even at the ballot, there is nothing that will change. So when we are going for nominations, we are not going for any negotiation, we are not going for anything. We are going to the ballot to get a direct ticket from the party after the people have given their say.
Okay.
And that is it.
Okay.
Yes.
You accused.
Well, you see, I don't want to talk about parties where sometimes people think more with the stomach than the vision and ideologies.
And which one do you go for, by the way, as Justice Freedom Party?
Well, we go for people-centered approach, where you need a people's person. Actually, our ideology is centered around the people and the citizens.
Popularity.
And as Ojijo Teko said, that the people have said, that is what guides us. And you will know as a leader who has the interests of the people at heart. And whether they're popular or not, you can equip them and enable them to get there. But on ideology of the parties, I vied to be a chairperson of PPLC, so I speak for parties. And to register a political party in Kenya is not a child's play.
Easy.
And the constitutional requirement for you to be approved and be registered, those who have not registered parties may just talk. And just to comply and have even those 80,000 members. We know how some people also get those other extra numbers. We've seen Kenyans crying loudly that some people registered them illegally. They did not register to those parties. And even today, there is a news that registrar of political party has scrapped off 600,000 members from other registered political parties. Because people are registered in those political parties illegally. So I'd rather enjoy my genuine 80,000 who are registered, and I know I have 80,000, than thinking you have 6 million who actually are illegally acquired. You understand? So
from M-Pesa registers.
Exactly. For you to register a political party, a party must have a bylaws and clarified objectives and manifesto, including vision, mission, and goal. So, and unless sometimes, actually, the problem is sometimes others just plagiarize. And they showcase just to pass. But when the test of time comes, and this is why you can stand here and say Jubilee government has failed, but the part of Jubilee government that is failing is leading his party that is exalting. Those are the inconsistency we have to separate. As Justice and Freedom Party, our main goal is to make sure that we have a robust economy. One major impediment to economic development is non-functional institutions. And key enemy institutions why they don't function are personalism and populism. Where populists want sycophants who don't want accountability, they don't want to be asked questions, they just want to be praised day and morning to night. And then personalism are also the same. And that's why sometimes I was telling you the two horses they are presenting to us is like a fox and a wolf to choose from who should eat us, because you see a populist, you see a personalist, whom we know at the end will not respect institutions. And the moment institutions cease to function, then forget about economic development. That's why corruption reigns. That's why we have the challenges and the issues we are talking about in the road, and this runaway value system that you cannot connect to our societal roots. So if we do not address this and bring back the institutions to function, then forget about it. And if you are still in the camp of a populism, I'm telling you, it is high time to escape, because the destruction of the populist and the person is coming, and when the hour comes...
What really happens currently, Justice, most aspirants are even afraid to declare their stand dactari because they're still waiting for that moment where they're going to get that certificate. It's close to people's hearts and chests.
And that's why my advice to my young brother here, Gitonga, is that he needs to take a decision that if you want to tell his story to the debe, don't play ping pong, in some of these populist parties, because the truth for the matter, like I said, mark this day, the 8th of March. Maybe after a nomination, we will be coming here to wipe Gitonga's, But I want to wish him well. I want to wish him well. But if he was a wise man, you'll be talking to Justice and myself here to give him a direct ticket so that he can tell his story. He can tell his story. He can tell his story.
But it's important. I have a rejoinder.
But I will give you time. But listen, let me ask you this question. At the end of the day, political parties play a key and pivotal role, in any election cycle, because you carry leaders to the ballot at the end of the day. Do you think we can have a free and fair nomination?
Yes.
The keyword is free and fair.
It is possible only if we respect, if a party puts on the table an ideology, a belief in. I mean, let me give you an example. You see, I follow the American politics very closely, especially in the last last election. The Democrats, for example, started with about 20 or 22 candidates, and those 22 candidates debated each other as guys were dropping down, but they never left their party. Now that's because they believe in the idea of social democracy. There is a philosophy the Democrats believe in. Now in Kenya, people don't believe in ideologies. They don't believe even in their parties. What leads people mainly is the stomach. How do I get into that position so that I can feed myself? And that's why in this country we have commercialized politics. So yes, it's possible to have free and fair election, but only if it's embedded in the rule of law, in a philosophy of a party, in your own belief as an individual, and if it is about selflessness, about service to the people. And that's why, again, we go back to the Constitution of Kenya and we say, we have a chapter called Leadership and Integrity. And the idea of that chapter is that actually it creates servant leadership. Now, in Kenya, that's not the case. And that's why you can see our nomination will be so chaotic, because people are looking at the check at the end of the day. That's why when people are elected, and I hope when my brother here makes it to parliament, he will only survive on his salary. Not lie to Kenyans about sitting allowance, I don't know, flying business class, I don't know what. I mean, our politics is so commercial, and I wish, that's why I was trying to make election or representation unattractive. If you saw in Punguza Mizigo, we're actually proposing to reduce the numbers, even cut, restrict salary, because the idea then you go there and serve the people of Kenya. And that's what we are lacking. So when you see people scrambling and fighting and changing political parties at the last minute, because they have no belief, they don't even believe in themselves to begin with. They have no self-worth. So if there is self-worth, we believe in the rule of law, philosophy in a political party, then it's possible for us to have free and fair election. If you look at, for example, the Democrats, Joe Biden, now the current president of the United States of America, was a product of about 20 plus aspirants, and they all came to support him at the end of the day. And he even picked one of them, competitors, Kamala Harris, to be the vice president. Those are people who believe in democracy, believe in ethos and values in a political, political party. I doubt we will be. Look, sorry to criticize you, my brother, but you say you belong in UDA. UDA currently is, I don't know whether you believe, we don't know what it is. You have one person who says, I'm a party leader in this new party formation. But our laws are very clear. You must belong to one political party at any one time. You cannot have two, you cannot be a member in two political parties. Your presidential candidate, even legally, is not even sound. He says he's in UDA. He has used our state resource, our state house, to recruit members of a political party. And yet he says he's under Jubilee government, which was the party that was now formed the government. So this is dishonesty in politics. And really, I wish the registered political parties had the nuts and bolts, to really say, no, you cannot belong in UDA. By now, registered political parties should have actually deregistered William Ruto from Nini or ODM. I don't know what Azimio is.
Yeah.
So let's bring some discipline.
It's okay, don't let him know. Those are the folders we'll use to
but see, even legally speaking, it is so wrong. So that's why I'm saying to you, yes, to answer your question, Victor, sorry to be so long, looking at the way things are being done, even the fact that we disrespect the rule of law, Political Parties Act, I don't see any free and fair election in the nomination. And that's why my brother here, Atakarangwa, and if he was wise, should talk to Justice or myself, give him a direct ticket.
I only have 5 minutes, but let me start with you, Gitonga, as you give your final word.
Yes.
You are facing Manyata constituency.
Yes.
The three of you, you're facing Kenyans for particular seats. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
When you go to Manyata on that particular day, assume it's a day after you've been sworn in.
Yes.
Give me your vision.
Well, I have a lot of things that I want to work on.
Right.
And as a youth and a young person, one of the challenges we are facing in this country is joblessness in the youth. And a simple thing like having a database of how many people are looking for jobs in the constituency, we don't have that. So first thing I'm going to do is create an office immediately that will have everybody who has graduated coming in and having him in the database that he is looking for a job somewhere.
Right.
And after that now, we are going to make policies of how to get these people into various jobs places. I also have a serious program that I want to start that is involving free feeding program for primary schools. And that is a project that I think it's fair for parents, because when Kibaki started the free primary education, he never said something should be paid. So you find that even primary schools these days, they are paying school fees, and people are being chased away to get school fees. So we need to actually have a system that we can improve on the free primary educations. We have also an idea on the issue of Women Fund, Youth Fund, and Uwezo Fund. And these funds are not getting to the right people and the right groups uko mashinani. And that's why I'm saying we need to create even applications whereby groups that are seated somewhere in a place called Kidhimu or somewhere in a place called Mbuvore can sit down, get a phone, get the application and apply for those funds. Just like we are getting Fuliza that the president owns.
All right.
You know, we have to digitize everything as we have said we want to do. And among other things.
All right.
But I want to say something on the political parties.
In 20 seconds.
In 20 seconds, yes. Now, the challenge has been these many political parties that we are having are actually confusing people. And it's important to always boil down into ideologies that face this country.
Yes.
And I'm happy with my friend with the Justice Party. That is, even the name itself tells you the focus is getting justice for our people. Third Way Alliance, I don't know the ideology specific, but whatever you have done for the public can be seen to drive along social justice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So those are things that we can. I would tell these people to come and recruit ward level, whatever party members, so that we can have a party
you, I think,
that
is,
you know,
we'll just
you get. But me, I belong to the UDA party. We have sold the UDA party to the people in Manyata constituency. It is the most popular party right now in Embu County.
Thank you.
And I will tell you one thing. There is nothing like losing for nominations on my side. Because the people are with me, the party is with me, and we're going to...
You know, I believe I will be the president of Kenya in 2017.
Yes, Doctor, you're putting short.
I believe I was going to be the president of Kenya in 2017 until the vote was counted. But anyway, be that as it may, one of the things that I really do believe in going forward is the whole notion of transformative leadership. Because leadership ought to be able to chaperone a country, to steer a country to a level of prosperity. And then you have to be able to address all those challenges.
Yes.
Health, education, theft of public money. At Third Way Alliance Kenya, we don't talk of corruption. It is theft of public money and public resources. So I believe in transformative leadership because it's only a leadership of a country from the very top that can actually set certain standards, even in terms of value, how we behave in society. And I think for me, we lack that in this country. And really one of my passion is that should Kenyans give me an opportunity to lead this country, they will see how leadership and the Kuru Accord or Third Way Alliance Kenya will actually change certain aspects in this country. I remember, for example, my argument with Raila Odinga when he was opposed to our BBI, our Punguza Mizigo, because he was promoting BBI. And I remember asking him, Jacom, you know, I've been to your village in Uko Bondo, Uko Ndani. I've seen poverty. I can smell poverty. Third Way Alliance Kenya was proposing the Ward Development Fund. So that people in a ward can then say, okay, this is exactly how much amount of money, and we are proposing even 100 million per every ward, okay? Let the people in a ward see, okay, what are our priorities? That for me was the idea of transforming that society, and it was going to bring equality in Kenya within a very short time. But why they opposed it, I don't know. And I remember asking them, why are you opposing me bringing actually transformation in your very, very, very village? And that for me is what I believe in. If you look at our proposal to Punguza Mizigo, we are going to save this country about 3.5 trillion Kenya shilling just from corruption alone and downsizing government, reducing the cost of governance in this country, and then rechanneling that money to education, to health, to, you know, to better making institutions that serve people Kenya better. And we wanted to see value in representation. So these are some of the things that I really do believe in, because when you look at this political formation and the big rallies they hold, you know, Victor, I don't know about you, but I struggle to hear what they will actually do in terms of transforming, changing the lives of Kenyans.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Justice.
We have to steady the ship.
Yes.
Kenya as a ship has not sunk, irrespective of the childish play that has been boring holes in the ship in all the corners. It still has survived and just brought us to this place. And it's just fair enough that we look into the future in the eye and not take the path of least resistance. Because change won't just come because of convenience, because it's easy, because we like it, or because it's favoring us. There are certain sacrifices we are going to take. And that I agree with the Mugambi, that there are challenges. We have to still campaign, of course, with various different tactics. And us, as taking that underdog tag, it is not new. The underdog tag has always been there. Even the best-selling stories are those trickster stories where it is a hare we carry the day, not the lion, not the elephant. So we are presented with such a scenario again in Kenya. And it is a time to rewrite that history, and I would invite you to be part of that history as we drive this vehicle. Thank you, my brother. I'll be steering Justice and Freedom Party, and I invite aspirants. I invite you. If they fail you, I will not fail you. I'll give you a direct ticket. We don't like Thanks so much, Victor.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. We value your valid, opinion for this particular show. We'll be speaking to Justice Juma, who is the party leader of Justice and Freedom Party of Kenya, Dr. Akura Ukot of the Third Way Alliance, as well as Gitonga here, Bukunji, who is vying for the member of National Assembly, Manyata constituency in Embu County. Thank you as a viewer. Meanwhile, very briefly, we'll be taking you to Kenya School of Government once the president arrives there, and we'll give you those live links. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. My name is Victor Lo. Have a good morning.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
Now, members of Parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice of the following motion.
The people Kenya. We wanted to see value in representation. So these are some of the things that I really do believe in, because when you look at this political formation and the big rallies they hold, Victor, I don't know about you, but I struggle to hear what they will actually do in terms of transforming, changing the lives of Kenyans.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Justice.
We have to steady the ship.
Yes.
Kenya as a ship has not sunk, irrespective of the childish play that has been boring holes in the ship in all the corners, it still has survived and just brought us to this place. And it's just fair enough that we look into the future in the eye and not take the path of least resistance. Because change won't just come because of convenience, because it's easy, because we like it, or because it's favoring us. There are certain sacrifices we are going to take. And that I agree with the Mugambi, that there are challenges. We have to still campaign, of course, with various different tactics. And us, as taking that underdog tag, it is not new. The underdog tag has always been there. Even the best-selling stories are those trickster stories where it is the hare we carry the day, not the lion, not the elephant. So we are presented with such a scenario again in Kenya. And it is a time to rewrite that history, and I would invite you to be part of that history as we drive this vehicle. Thank you, my brother. I'll be steering Justice and Freedom Party, and I invite aspirants. I invite you. If they fail you, I will not fail you. I'll give you a direct ticket. We don't like Thanks so much, Victor.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. We value your valid, opinion for this particular show. We'll speak to Justice Juma, who is the party leader of Justice and Freedom Party of Kenya, Dr. Akura Ukot of the Third Way Alliance, as well as Gitonga here, Bukunji, who is vying for the member of National Assembly, Manyata constituency in Embu County. Thank you as a viewer. Meanwhile, very briefly, we'll be taking you to Kenya School of Government once the president arrives there, and we'll give you those live links. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. My name is Victor Lo. Have a good morning.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
Honourable members of Parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice of the following motion.
The debate.
Will as many as what opinion say aye.
The statements.
A statement on an issue of general topical concern.
The petitions.
Order number 4, petitions.
Stay tuned to KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa for live proceedings from both houses of parliament from Tuesday to Thursday. Live, uncensored, unedited. KBC, your national broadcaster.
Kukanya mara nyingi sana uachane na Kate, lakini usikii mwanamume we. Matatizo jibu maswali yangu vile ninavyokuuliza. Wasikia?
Basi salamu usinipe, kwako pia utanikaribisha.
Utoka hapo sije ukaanguka kwa maji. Unataka kuniletea shida wewe?
Unatafuta nini?
Mbona ulikuwa unataka nije?
Sitakataa uje. Ukasisha watu amani. Kisa ni mali mama.
Hii ni mitikasi leo, makala kutoka BBC yaliyomo. Tunaangazia kuimarisha masuala ya jinsia, mazingira na uhusiano wa kijamii katika biashara na faida zake. Baadaye tutakueleza mikakati inayowekwa ili kuwezesha nchi za Kiafrika kuzalisha kawi ya kijani kibichi. Kisha takriban watu 18 wameuawa wakati wa mgodi wa dhahabu usio rasmi ulipoporomoka magharibi mwa Guinea. Mubashara kutoka Nairobi, Kenya, usibanduke. Hujambo na karibu katika habari za biashara zinazokuhusu, uchambuzi wa kina na mahojiano. Jina langu mimi ni Hamida Abubakar. Tuanze na taarifa ambapo Norway na Uingereza zimetangaza uwekezaji wa dola milioni 39.2 kusaidia mpango wa Afrika Kusini wa kuzalisha nishati safi. Hii inalenga kukomesha nchi hiyo kutegemea mali asili kama vile makaa ya mawe. Awamu hii ya kwanza itatumika kuzalisha nishati kupitia upepo na nishati ya jua. Ni sehemu ya ahadi ya dola bilioni 8.5 ambayo Afrika Kusini ilitia saini na Ufaransa, Ujerumani, Uingereza, Marekani na Umoja wa Ulaya katika mkutano wa kilele wa mabadiliko ya tabia nchi huko Glasgow mwaka jana. Afrika Kusini inapanga kuzalisha gigawati 20 za nishati safi katika muongo ujao ili kukabiliana na uhaba wa umeme. Kulingana na Wizara ya Madini, Rasilimali na Nishati nchini humo, 80% ya nishati inayotumika inatokana na makaa ya mawe. Barani Afrika, Ethiopia, Misri, Morocco na Kenya pia zinajenga uchumi unaotegemea nishati safi. Idara ya kimataifa ya nishati safi IRENA inakadiria uwezo wa nishati safi barani Afrika unaweza kuwafikia gigawati 310 ifikapo mwaka 2030 na kuiweka katika mstari wa mbele katika uzalishaji wa nishati mbadala kote duniani. Awali nilizungumza naye Salutari Barabojic, mkurugenzi katika kampuni ya Husk Power Systems, na alikuwa na haya kutueleza.
Kubwa zaidi nadhani ni swala zima la mazingira kwa maana ya kwamba hizi nishati jadidifu ni rafiki kwa mazingira tofauti na uzalishaji wa namna nyingine yote ile ya nishati. Kwa hiyo manufaa makubwa ni hayo, lakini vile vile kuna manufaa endelevu kwa maana ya kuwajengea watu afya njema, kwa sababu unaepusha na magonjwa aina mbalimbali yatokanayo na hewa chafu. Kwa hiyo unaongeza ustawi wa maisha yako, na hata labda maisha ya watu kuishi kama lifespan 50, basi tunategemea kwamba watafika 70 na kadhalika.
Katika kongamano la tabia nchi lililofanyika kule Glasgow, mataifa ya magharibi yaliahidi fedha ili kuweza kusaidia bara la Afrika kuanza kutumia nishati hii. Sasa fedha hizi zishatolewa?
Kwa baadhi ya nchi tunaona kuna mwendelezo mzuri, kwa maana ya kwa mfano kama nchi kama Afrika Kusini, nadhani ni nchi pekee kwa bara letu lilienda na proposal, na bahati nzuri vile vile wakasikilizwa, na sasa hivi tunaona tena kuna Norfund ambao wameamua kutoa tena hela, kama sikosei ni karibia dola milioni 40. Kwa hiyo na hii imeelekezwa zaidi kwa Afrika weusi. Kwa hiyo unaweza kuona kama kuna mwendelezo, lakini kwa nchi zingine bado kuna changamoto hasa ya kuintegrate hili jambo kwenye mifumo yao ya kitaasisi, kwenye sera, ili iweze kutekelezwa na hatimaye iweze kuzaa matunda. Kwa hiyo bado kwa nchi zingine za Afrika kuna safari walau ndefu, lakini ni nchi chache sana ambazo zimechukua hatua.
Salutari, ni taifa gani ambalo unaweza kulitoa kama mfano ambalo limefuata mkondo huu na likafaulu na linajiendeleza vizuri kimaendeleo?
Kwa sasa hivi ni mapema mno. Kwa mfano ukiangalia COP26 ilikuwa ni mwaka jana, japo kuna hatua zingine zilikuwepo hapo kabla, lakini tunaweza kusema nchi ya Afrika Kusini kwa bara la Afrika ni nchi pekee ambayo kidogo ilishapiga hatua mbele, labda ikifuatiwa na nchi kama Egypt na Misri. Kuna nchi kama Morocco labda na Nigeria zimejitahidi sana kusogea mbele na zimejiadjust, kwa maana ya sheria zao, sera zao zimejitahidi sana kuaccommodate mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Na kuna kwa mfano kama nchi kama Misri kuna wizara kabisa ambayo inajihusisha na masuala ya renewable energy, lakini kwa nchi zingine hizi unaweza kukuta labda hata hakuna idara kwenye wizara ambayo inajihusisha na renewable energy. Kwa hiyo kuna hatua, lakini bado safari ni ndefu.
Na kwa sasa tupie macho taarifa zingine za biashara kutoka Afrika na kimataifa. Kundi la kwanza la raia wa Nigeria walioondolewa Ukraine kufuatia mzozo na uendelea nchini humo limewasili hii leo Ijumaa asubuhi katika mji mkuu wa Abuja. Kundi hilo linajumuisha wanafunzi 451 kwa mujibu wa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya bunge la Nigeria kuhusu masuala ya kigeni. Nigeria inatarajiwa kuwahamisha raia wake 5,000 wanaokimbia mzozo nchini Ukraine, wengi wao wakiwa wataalam, wanafunzi na wafanyabiashara. Takriban watu 18 wameuawa wakati mgodi wa dhahabu usio rasmi ulipoporomoka magharibi mwa Guinea. Ajali hiyo ilitokea mapema wiki hii huko Gaubol, yapata kilomita 386 kutoka mji mkuu Conakry. Katika miezi ya hivi karibuni, wachimba migodi wamekuwa wakimiminika sehemu hiyo kutafuta dhahabu. Mwaka jana mwezi Mei, takriban watu 15 waliuawa katika tukio kama hilo kwenye mgodi wa dhahabu eneo la kaskazini mashariki la Siriguiri. Uzalishaji wa mafuta